If you watch film, it was a close game, and Blue Springs South really controlled the ball most of the game. They drove down, I think, 3 times inside the 10 and kind of sputtered out, but their O-line is really good, and they really ran the ball well. They do some old split-back veer stuff, and it's going to be a test for our defensive front.
Yeah, we'll see just how good they really are. And then for our offense, we need to see more balance out of it, or do you think we're still going to be able to stress the run?
Well, I think that's our go-to.
Lee Summit West High School presents Titan Football.
I'm going to work! Move it! Get off the ground! Come on, Titans, hit somebody! Woo! You gotta love Titan football.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome out to Blue Springs, Missouri. We are at Blue Springs South High School as the Lee Summit West Titans getting set to take on the Blue Springs South Jaguars. Joel Becker along with Mark Files, too, here on Week 2 in the 2021 Class 6 Misha season. And a pretty good Week 1 for the Titans, and the Jaguars, despite the score, actually played a pretty good game against the Lee Summit North Broncos.
They did. Lee Summit North is as advertised. They're stacked this year, and Blue Springs South is in a building mode right now. They're trying to get some of the younger kids into the program and getting them to buy into this tradition over here at Blue Springs South.
I noticed how young their roster is in terms of the people that they're actually using in games when I was doing the depth chart. So we'll see how that goes. We'll get our coaches' thoughts on it. The coaches' conversation with Vinny Careswell comes up right now. The game is just about 6 minutes away. Here's our coaches' conversation with Coach Careswell on Titan football. It's the coaches' conversation. Joel Becker talking with Lee Summit West head coach Vinny Careswell as we move to Week 2 here in this 2021 season. And I tell you what, I bet Chase Hammond wishes we could play Park Hill every week.
Well, Chase had a tremendous game. Last year he had the pick 6 against them in overtime to seal the victory. 2 picks, another pick 6. He really ran to the ball and covered well, and that's Chase Hammond. He's a great football player.
Well, those 3 turnovers obviously were a big factor in the game. Other than that, how did you feel like the team performed?
Sure. Offensively, we moved the ball on the ground, and we had a couple quick hitters for passing. We got to be more consistent moving the ball on offense. I think we ended up with 120 yards, and that's not good enough in our conference. So all week we stressed being able to run the ball and then mix it up with the pass too.
Yeah, and then defensively, I thought we played really well.
Yeah, I thought our guys looked fast, and we've got a young D-line. We rotate in some sophomores, and I thought they really proved themselves and really ran after the ball well.
With that 3-3 format that we get, a sort of Oklahoma look that we give them, there is a little bit of a hole going down the seams. I'm assuming that you're addressing that.
We've addressed it, and we'll take care of that.
No doubt that that's the case. Now, this week with Blue Springs South, obviously they played Lee Summit North last week. It was not a very close game, but how much of that is how good Lee Summit North is, and how much is still rebuilding for the Jaguars?
Well, I'll argue that if you watch film, it was a close game, and Blue Springs South really controlled the ball most of the game. They drove down, I think, 3 times inside the 10 and kind of sputtered out, but their O-line is really good, and they really ran the ball well. They do some old split-back veer stuff, and it's going to be a test for our defensive front.
Yeah, we'll see just how good they really are. And then for our offense, we need to see more balance out of it, or do you think we're still going to be able to stress the run?
Well, I think that's our go-to is the run. With our 2 running backs, Surratt and Mayo, we need to get them the ball, and our offensive line had a few errors. I think Coach Barrows has cleaned that up with them. I think you're going to still see us running the ball a lot.
Special teams actually went pretty well, too.
Special teams was good. Trey was awesome. Grayson Hanna kicked well. We had great snaps from Isaac Greer. So special teams, we covered well, everything, and of course we had Haney with the return on the punt. So, hopefully special teams lights it up again tonight.
Yeah, that definitely it makes a huge difference for field position and even getting points off of it, as it turns out.
Absolutely, and that's what we stress. We always talk about punt and kickoff as being the two most important special teams to us, and field position. And we had it all night. We had Trey had a great punt, and we had great field position the entire night. Hopefully, it ends up that way tonight.
The good news is the rain, knock on wood, seems to be staying away for the time being. I wouldn't mind if they turned the fan up a little bit, but other than that, we're doing okay.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be quite this steamy. Not quite as hot as last week, but no rain. I think we'll get through the game, and winds, I don't think a big factor. So it should be good weather for tonight.
Any injuries from last week?
No injuries. I think we're going to be fine.
All right, should be a good one. Let's get us to 2-0.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right, that's Coach Vinny Carswell. I'm Joel Becker, and this is Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
No matter what your goals are, competing at the next level, participating in a local 5K, or leading your team to state, the Sports Medicine Center at Children's Mercy is here to provide comprehensive 360-degree care for student athletes. Performance training, injury prevention, rehab services, nutrition, mental wellness, surgery, and more. It's not just about the next goal or the one after that. It's about supporting a lifetime of sport and helping every student athlete play healthy.
And we are back live here in Blue Springs. Joel Becker along with Mark Files, Lee Summit West Titan football. The Titans about to take on Blue Springs South. The captain's out at the middle of the field for the coin toss. And you heard the coach talking about last week's performance, and they think they have their holes addressed.
We'll see. Today's the test, right?
So far.
School, I got a interesting stat today.
Okay.
This is the first time in 18 months that the teachers and students at Lee Summit West High School have gone to school 5 consecutive days.
Huh.
So I wonder if that might not be wearing on the kids just a little bit tonight.
I don't know.
So we'll find out.
Well, I was talking about this with you earlier off the air, the fact that this is not the Jaguars home opener they played here last week. Mm-hmm. But why do you suppose at the high school level, home field doesn't really seem to make as big? I mean, like, for example, at the college level, it seems to be a huge deal whether you're playing at home or not. Maybe not so much in the NFL, but for high school, it makes a difference, but it's not nearly as big a difference as you might see it at say, Division I.
I will say it makes a difference at certain venues. Case in point, Ray Peck, Blue Springs High School, Lee Summit West.
Camdenton.
Yeah.
We know them.
We know them very well, right?
They charge different concession prices.
They do. Purple Haze, man. They chant that in the background. Whoa, you went way back in the memories for that one. That was fun, though.
Yeah, absolutely. They're still giving them the little talk right now. It's about sportsmanship and all that other stuff.
That's right. And kudos to Coach Klein. I love the new jerseys with the big white numbers on them for Blue Springs South.
Yes, you can see them.
You can actually read them.
Yeah. They're even bigger than the West numbers, I think.
Yes,
they're certainly thicker.
That's right. They've got that slant look. It's like that, whatever it is, the Adidas or whoever it is that goes with those crazy numbers.
Okay. Getting a little bit of a late start here to this game for whatever reason. The Titans won the toss. They have deferred, so we're going to see the Jaguars offense when we get started and come back with the first quarter of play. It is Lee Summit West in Blue Springs, right here from Blue Springs South High School. Blue Springs South Jaguars and Lee Summit West Titans Opening kickoff coming up after this on Titan Football, presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
Don't trust the biggest investment of your life to a part-time real estate agent. Trust the #1 real estate team in Kansas and Missouri, the Rob Ellerman team at Reese Nichols. With over 90 agents and 5 offices across the metro, they'll match you up with the perfect agent to get you moving with confidence. They cover the entire metro area, from Lee Summit to the Northland to Johnson County. They also have offices in Des Moines and Springfield, Missouri, and Destin, Florida, if you know of someone looking to move. The Rob Ellerman team truly is your real estate resource. Call anytime at 816-304-4434 or visit therobellermanteam.com. The Rob Ellerman team, a proud supporter of Kansas City Metro High School athletics.
You'll have to forgive me. I think I'm going to be out of breath for the next half a quarter after that commercial. But Joel Becker and Mark Files here at Blue Springs South High School. The Lee Summit West Titans about to take on the Blue Springs South Jaguars. As I mentioned, the Titans won the toss and deferred. So Will Peacock out there to tee the ball up at the 40-yard line. And looks like back deep for the Jaguars, Bryce Reeves. The crowd whipping it up here at Blue Springs South, which is pretty impressive considering their opening game. They're still excited as this one's going to go well into the end zone, almost out the back. And we'll see the Jaguars from their own 20-yard line to start things off here on their first offensive possession. And you know, if you're the Titans, you got to be happy getting that defense out there first. And you know, that with the way they played last week, hopefully they'll be just as dominant.
They really set the tone for the whole game. They did. They stayed on top of it. Loved how the kids tackled. I loved the pursuit to the football for the defensive line all the way back to the safeties.
Cash Parker, the quarterback for the Jaguars, and on a quick hit up the middle, not much there. And probably half a yard gain maybe, as Theo Thomas, I believe, got the initial carry there. Or no, I take it back, it was Bryce Reeves. And it'll be a gain of a yard, 2nd down and 9 for the Jaguars. Just underway here in the first quarter, no score. They come out in another pistol formation here with single wideouts on either side. The tight end in motion to the left. Sets up as an H-back. On the snap, it's a bit of an option, the handoff. And again, trying over left tackle is Reeves. Not much there. It'll set up a 3rd and long. So that was what Coach was talking about, those slant runs.
That's right. They like trying to get the outside with the speedster. That is for sure.
Well, and that's right into the wheelhouse of the Titans.
Right, pursuing from sideline to sideline.
So it'll be 3rd down, let's call it 7, as they come out trips right. Parker looks to the sideline, tries to get the play called. One man on the left and still a pistol with Thomas behind him this time around. And we're going to get a whistle and a false start. The play clock had been down to 4, I should say. That's interesting, by the way. It was the guy given the signal on the penalty is not the white hat.
It was the the back judge or the umpire?
Back guy, I'm assuming. So it'll set up now a 3rd down and 12 after the penalty. Same formation. Trips on the right. And one running back behind the quarterback, Cash Parker. He goes back to throw. He's got time, throws over the middle, and he overthrows his intended receiver as he was looking for Seib, the tight end. Luke Seib, S-E-I-B, excuse me. He called him Seib, so that's what I'll call him from now on, the PA announcer. And you know, he's a big kid. It might have been possible to get him the ball, but that was not really very close.
Well, and it looked like the quarterback just gave up on the play. I mean, he just went ahead and threw it away and took care of business.
Perhaps a little bit of happy feet back there.
Yep.
Interestingly, the quarterback, Parker, is also their punter. He's standing back at about his own 5-yard line. Brian Haney well back deep for the Titans as the right-footed kick is short and takes a Blue Springs South bounce across midfield into Titan territory down at the 41. It's a short punt, but it took a great hop. Nothing that Haney could do.
Nope. That's one of those few situations where you don't mind Haney letting that ball
No,
down.
absolutely.
You're in midfield, you got great field
I was just
position.
going to say, it cost you maybe 10 yards, but it's not, starting on your own 41 is nothing to sneeze at.
Exactly.
Plus, he's distracted. He's calling a KU game tonight.
Oh, he is.
Well, I mean,
pulling double duty.
KU's playing South Dakota.
There you go.
Over in Lawrence. Brian Haney on the call. Different Brian Haney.
Haney, that's all right.
But what the heck? They spell their names differently. Next time I see the other Brian Haney, I'm going to have to mention that to him. From the pistol formation, Surratt with the give on 1st and 10. Tries to find his way up the middle for about 3. He went over left guard. And by the way, it's Hardin with the start tonight, as Jamison starting ahead of Kyle for this second game. We saw a lot of him last week. And he's going to get an opportunity to play quite a bit this week. We've got Twins on the right, one man on the left. On 2nd down, Surratt again on the right side. Had a hole for just a second. Was able to get across the 45 to near the 46. It'll be a gain of 2 and set up a 3rd down and about 6 from there.
Again, they're working the middle there, went behind the strength of the tight line there.
3rd down and 6 from the 45-yard line.
We'll see if they come out throwing here on 3rd down or not. Hardin again from the pistol. Back to throw, looking to the left side. Now we'll throw over the middle, and it is incomplete. Boy, there was a lot of contact there.
There was a lot of contact.
As the intended receiver was Ford, and he had a defender all over his back. But no flag, and it'll be a 3 and out for both teams, as it turns out. Now the Titans had the good fortune of Troy Sweeney punting very well last week. He'll be kicking a little bit into the wind, though, this time. At least that's what it feels like from here.
Yeah, it's...
The flags aren't moving too much. Standing at his own 30, bit of a high snap. He'll kick a line drive kick, and it is fielded at the 20-yard line and makes one man miss, gets up to near the 30. Pretty good return on the play by Dante Maley. And it'll be 1st and 10. Pretty good field position for the Jaguars on their 2nd try on offense.
Much better field position, giving an additional 11 yards from where they started last time.
9:08 left to go here in the first quarter of play. Both teams go 3 and out on their first offensive possession. We'll see what adjustments, if any, as looks like they'll go under center here with Parker on the inside give to the fullback, Thomas. Not much there over the middle. Both teams are just trying to exert their will up the middle.
Well, and again,
haven't been able to do it either.
Well, and it just it's that feeling out process, trying to figure out exactly where they are, you know.
So 2nd down and 8 after the gain of 2.
2nd down and 8.
Parker this time from the shotgun, pistol formation with Thomas behind him, and he's got single wideouts on either side. Double tight set. He will throw to the far side. He's got a man, but incomplete. As Alex Israelite, who I believe goes by Izzy.
There you go.
Had a few steps once he kind of broke free, but the ball was overthrown. A couple of overthrown passes by Cash Parker so far.
And you saw that how he got that extra space. He had that inside
little
arm
push off.
and had a little push off. Gave himself a
Hey.
little bump.
You know why? You know how I know it was legal?
Because there was no flag.
No flag.
Thank you, Coach Warner, right?
3rd down and 8. Parker again from the pistol, this time Twins on the left. Wing back, and it is a give up the middle, and Thomas breaks the tackle. Then he loses the football. Titans got it. We'll wait for the official indication, but it looks like Titans football on the fumble and recovery. He was going to be short of the 1st down anyway.
Number 15, Howie Grauberger with the recovery.
And they're indicating 4th down. Now they're saying it is Titan football. Yep, so first turnover goes the way of the Titans, just like last week, and they're going to have another short field with the ball on the Jaguar 37-yard line.
Nice job by the Titans there of getting into the ball carrier and getting that ball loose.
Like I said, Thomas was probably going to be short of the first down anyway. Titans are going to come out with Hines in a Wildcat formation here on the 1st and 10 play with Surratt to his right. He'll fake it to Surratt up the middle. Hines, and a big hole across the 30 down near the 25. He was down, did lose the football, but he was clearly down before that happened. And I tell you what, Eaton Lewis lost his helmet, and that's a lot of hair heading to the sideline for a play.
That it is. It was like, wow.
Gain of 11 yards, good for a Titans first down.
They're going to have to use a different center for a snap unless they take a timeout.
Nah, you won't take a timeout this early in the game.
No. They're going to stay with the Wildcat. Hines with a pretty good run there on first down. It'll be 1st and 10 again for the Titans with the ball on the 26. Man in motion, and it's again. Boy, he had an option and decided not to toss it. He winds his way to the right side, and again lost the football. This time it is a fumble, and it looks like the Jaguars came away with it. 2 consecutive plays where Hines lost the football. The first time he was clearly down before it happened, but this time he was still struggling for extra yardage, and so the Titans turned the ball right back over.
Well, and that's, again, that he knew early on in the play he made the wrong choice, okay? He kept the ball, should have handed it off. So he tried to make a play, and when you try to do more than what you can, that's when those fumbles have a tendency to happen.
They do at that. So teams trade fumbles. And the Jaguars back out now, this time from their own 27, looks like 28. And again, they go to Thomas, trying to get around left tackle, gets across the 30. And I shouldn't say Thomas, that actually was their backup, Peyton Roper, I think.
28?
Yeah.
Yep. That is Peyton Roper.
And so he picks up, let's call it 3, 2nd down and 7. Empty backfield this time for Parker. Back to throw. Looking, throwing on the right side, and it is incomplete. Intended for Watson on the near sideline, just kind of ran out of room. Parker has been a little strong on his throws here in this first quarter.
He's been strong, but I tell you what, I like that coverage.
Yeah. Well, what a name, a high school quarterback named Cash Parker. It sounds like it's right out of Riverdale, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Must be BMOC. 3rd down, about 7.
Sounds like money to me, buddy.
On the delayed give, up the middle. Good job by the Titans middle, and Noah Jones over there to at least help start with the tackle. Not much on the play, maybe a 2-yard gain for Reeves, and it'll set up a 4th and 6 and a punting situation for the Jaguars.
Again, nice stand there by the Titan defense.
Yeah, after they force a turnover and their offense turns it right back, that can be demoralizing, but as it turns out, like you said, they stood up tall in that drive.
That's the way to pick up the offense and pick up Hines there on that fumble. Give him another short field, gentlemen.
Parker's kick this time high, also short. Fair catch called for and made by Haney at the 41. So deja vu will start from the same spot as we did our first drive.
27-yard punt, no return.
6:12 left to go. We'll get our water break timeout.
Timeout on the field.
I would say right now. It is, warmer than we were kind of hoping for today.
Well, is it? I don't think
not
the
rainy.
heat. Yeah, I was going to say it's not rainy. I think it's just
muggy.
Yeah, I was going to say it's muggy. It is way cooler out here tonight than it was last week, though.
That is true. Certainly cooler for us.
Yes.
We're in an open bay.
That's right. I can actually see through my eyes without the sweat. Crazy. It was brutal there till about midway through the first quarter.
Especially in the press box.
Exactly.
Last year we had that window unit.
Yes, we did. Well, it was 2 years ago. Last year we were outside. It was a window
That's right.
unit
Last year, yeah. Last year was a whole another story. So let's see what the Titans can do on their third possession. They were 3 and out, and they fumbled the ball. So not exactly what you would call the most efficient work from the Titans offense so far. Harden back out, as they had gone Wildcat in their second try. From the pistol, and he fakes to Surratt, rolls to his left. He's got time, throws over the middle. It is caught, and up near midfield. A bit of a late hit out of town, or out of bounds, but Brock Coble with the catch. And that'll move the chains 1st and 10 into Jaguar territory for the Titans. 1st and 10 from the Blue Springs South 48.
That was a nice route. Nice job by the quarterback, taking his time and reading his progressions and dropping the ball to Coble.
Well, it's good to see the Titans, balance things out at least a little bit from time to time with their running attack. They go twins on the right this time, one man on the left, pistol formation. Surratt, and he'll get the toss, trying to go right side. There's a flag down. This is going to be, well, I don't know, actually.
I think it's defensive illegal.
I was going to say, based on the way the reaction of Stone over there off of the left side of the offensive line, he's clearly hurt. But you got to wonder how, and maybe it was a defensive lineman. We'll wait and see. It looks like illegal hands to the face, as near as I can figure, is what that signal was. It was an odd-looking signal.
It was. I was going to say, it was a heck of a play. So Surratt got what, to the 45-yard line?
Yeah. So pickup of 3, and then they're going to add, I think, another 15 yards to it.
Illegal use of the hands, the penalty against the Jaguars.
Or maybe it's 10. Looks like it's 10 to the 35. It'll move the chains 1st and 10 Titans.
After the penalty, it's 1st down and 10.
10 yards, illegal hands to the face.
So Surratt moves back behind Harden on this 1st down play from the pistol. Twins on the right. That is the short side. Give up the middle. Surratt with a hole this time. And he gets dragged down as he gets near the 1st down marker. 25 down to maybe the 23. Let's call it the 24. Pickup of 11. 1st and 10 again. Titans, this is about the 3rd straight play they've moved the chains.
As I said last week, Surratt just gets stronger the more reps he gets carrying that football. Does a nice job. And I like the fact that he's running north-south here and not going east-west before he gets upfield.
They move the Twins out on the left side this time. One man on the right, H-back on the right as well. And give to Surratt, trying to go up the left side. He was pulled down from behind again. He was able to break the initial contact tackle as Hayden Meyer got a hand on him. And he ran away from him, but he didn't have anywhere to go, so Meyer caught up to him and then took him down.
That was a nice job by the defensive line there and the linebackers for Blue Springs South. They really took away the running lanes.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Actually, he may have lost a yard as I look at it now. So we'll call it 2nd and 11. From the shotgun, Harden back to throw. He has time, lots of time, throws over the middle, and it is caught right inside the 5. It's Dickerson on the catch at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal for the Titans, sliding down as he makes the catch.
That was a great catch. Went down to get it, protected the ball.
Wasn't sure if he was going to get his arms underneath it.
That's right.
But he did. Never did touch the ground. They mark him down to the 3, and it'll be 1st and goal from there. Looks like they may go Wildcat as Mayo is in to take this snap. They're short a player. Finally, Coble comes out to take the slot on the right side. He'll move in motion, and it's Mayo. He fakes to Coble up the middle. Mayo in across the line. Did he make it in? Waiting for the indication. Touchdown Titans. Mayo from 3 yards out, just right up the middle. And the Titans get on board first with 4:05 left to go in the first quarter, 6-0 with the extra point to come.
Nice effort, nice job by Coble to have the speed to get across on the fake jet sweep after coming in late on the play there.
Grayson Hanna out to try and tack on an extra point. Snap back, ball down, kick up, high, long, and it is good. 4:05 left to go, first quarter. The Titans strike first. They lead at 7-0. Back with the kickoff coming up after this on Titan Football. A presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Welcome back to Blue Springs, Missouri. Joel Becker and Mark Files as the Lee Summit West Titans on top of the Blue Springs South Jaguars. 7-0 our score with 4:05 to go here in the first quarter of play. And you can't keep giving teams relatively short fields and expect them not to get some points on the board.
You know, and Coach Careswell I thought he was kind of tough on the team, only having 120 yards in offense. But you know what? They had 3 scores where they didn't have any offensive possessions. So, I think that all balances out.
It's his job, be tough on the team.
It's motivating, isn't it?
That's right. This kick will be taken at about the 2-yard line right in the middle of the field, trying to go up the left side. And a pretty good move to get across the 25 out to about the 28 was number 28, Peyton Roper. Pretty good return. And it'll be first and 10 from their own 28, though, for the Jaguars.
Nice job to get to his ball and get upfield and get it close to the 30-yard line.
That may have been Davion Stokes, actually.
I think that's number 20.
Yeah. So it's sometimes between the 8s and the 10 and the 0s, it's kind of hard. They're thick numbers.
Yes, they are.
So first and 10 for the Jaguars. Have had struggles trying to move the ball against this tough Titan front four.
Legal procedure there, maybe?
Well, no
flag.
I didn't see a flag. And the run up the middle will be good for about 3. It was Theo Thomas on the carry, I should say. Set up a second down, let's call it 7. I've noticed that a couple times in this game where it seems like the Jaguars are getting a slight head start.
Yeah, the backs they're really doing a nice job anticipating the snap count. That's what you want, You want you guys getting off quick.
If you can get away with it.
Exactly.
Parker under center, takes the snap, gives up the middle, tripped up though. Boy, that looked like it had the potential of being a pretty good play. Again, Thomas on the carry, but he only gets about a yard because he tripped. I'm not sure if he tripped over a Titan or even maybe one of his own fallen blockers.
I think he stepped on his own lineman, really.
I thought that's what I was thinking. One of the linemen fell down, and I think he tripped over him.
That's why they teach you to pick your feet up in practice.
Run high. I was, when I was down there doing the coaches interview and the kids were doing their calisthenics, I was reminiscing about when I could actually move like that. 3rd down and 5 from the pistol. On the option, Parker tosses. Thomas, he's hit in the backfield and taken down for a loss. A great play by Ely.
That's a great play by number 33 for the Titans first. He took the quarterback and gave him no option but to pitch it.
That would be Wyatt Ramsey.
And Wyatt Ramsey. That's a dangerous combo, is it not?
Ely and Ramsey, yeah. The linebacking core of the Titans has been impressive so far this year. Parker is back again to punt for the 3rd time now in this first quarter. I mentioned that he's the quarterback, of course, and also the punter, just because you never know when there could be a fake at some point, but probably not from where they are in the field. Pretty good kick this time, spiral kick, and it is taken by Haney, and he's hit immediately. Should have called for the fair catch in retrospect, but at least he hung on to the ball.
Yes, but you know what? This is possession number 3 within 2 yards of the starting point, so I'll take it.
39, the other 2 are on the 41. So like you said, within 2 yards. And then the fourth possession they had was on a fumble, so it was way in the other territory. And they actually didn't move the ball as well from there. Well, good little learning experience for Brian.
Yes, it is.
Well, at least you hope it is. You never know.
Well,
with returners, sometimes they make the same mistakes.
Yeah, but I like his aggressiveness because it's catches like that freed him up last week to go for broke and score the touchdown.
Well, he did, and he did.
You got to take the good with the bad, The little riverboat gambler there.
Surratt left side. He was met at the line after a gain of maybe 2. Gang tackled, but the initial hit was enough to knock him down. It was a really good play by Troy, one of their cornerbacks actually came up and made that play.
Put a darn good lick on him. That was a great form tackle.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy who probably outweighs him by, 30, 40 pounds, Surratt's relatively big. And
he's a big kid.
Yeah. So we'll call it a gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Empty backfield this time for Hardin. He's back to throw, had a little trouble with the snap, but picks it up, throws, and incomplete. He was looking for Dickerson and threw it over his head, setting up a 3rd down and 10.
Sorry about that, Joel. That little juggle threw the timing off on that route. I mean, it was basically what it was, and everybody saw it.
Do you ever wonder if quarterbacks, though, like especially in an offense like this, say, if I throw an incompletion here, he's going to let me throw it again on 3rd down and long?
No. You complete all the passes you can.
They don't do that?
And you make darn sure you throw it away if it's going to be intercepted. So that's what you want to make sure of.
Hardin, one man in motion, and a quick throw back. This is a trick play. Throw downfield, Mayo. He's got a man. It is caught down the far sideline. Could go all the way, and tackled down at the 1 yard line is Ford on the halfback option as he flipped it back to Mayo on the backwards pass, and Mayo had a wide open tight end, Trevor Ford, who took it 56 yards down to let's call it the 3.
The good part about that play was Trevor got it down the field. The bad part about that play is when they do the team film, they're going to tease him from getting caught from behind.
You think?
I do.
Mayo stays out to take the Wildcat snap here as it's 1st and goal again from the 3. This is where he scored from in their last possession. Man in motion again, and they'll fake it to him, trying to go left side, cuts inside into the end zone. Touchdown, Titans. Mayo for the 2nd time from 3 yards out. And David has himself a pair of running touchdowns. The Titans on top 13-0 with the extra point to come.
Nice little
he actually
twist in the game plan there by throwing that halfback pass.
Well, we haven't seen a Sterling trick play really much.
No. I mean, they shuffled the linemen last year. That was what they did, or last week.
Hannah's extra point is up and good.
Extra point is good.
Half a minute to go, 34 seconds in the first quarter, and the Titans strike again. 14-0 is our score. Titans on top of the Jaguars. Kickoff coming up after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
Don't trust the biggest investment of your life to a part-time real estate agent. Trust the #1 real estate team in Kansas and Missouri, the Rob Ellerman team at Reese Nichols. With over 90 agents and 5 offices across the metro, they'll match you up with the perfect agent to get you moving with confidence. They cover the entire metro area, from Lee Summit to the Northland to Johnson County. They also have offices in Des Moines and Springfield, Missouri, and Destin, Florida, if you know of someone looking to move. The Rob Ellerman team truly is your real estate resource. Call anytime at 816-304-4434 or visit the Rob Ellerman.
Well, it was a little bit of a slow start for the Titans in this first quarter, but they got things going about, 2/3 of the way through, and have put 2 offensive possessions from their own 41 and their own 39, marching down the field and coming up with a pair of touchdowns, 2 3-yard runs by David Mayo to cap them off.
Nice job by the Titans, taking advantage of the short field and making the long play. Now, let's give kudos to the place kicker who's hitting those field goals. That kid did a lot of work in the offseason, built that leg strength.
Grayson Hanna, and this will go into the end zone. Speaking of leg strength, as will Peacock, handling the kickoffs, knocks for the 2nd of his 3 kicks into the end zone.
Both those kickers, that is tremendous to have those assets on your special teams. I mean, it's all about key points in close ball games on those extra points, and then having Peacock having the ability to put the ball through the end zone. That's the third one in 2 games so far.
Well, and again, even there's not a whole lot of wind, I should say, according to the flags, but it's not like he's had a whole lot of help getting.
No.
Yeah.
He's doing a nice job.
Parker sets things up in the pistol with trips, I should say, on the right side. And on first down on the play action throws, it is caught and forced out of bounds. Reeves.
Pass is complete from number 4, Cash Parker, to number 1, Bryce Reeves.
Let's see how much they give him. Maybe 2 or 3 up to the 22-yard line. It'll be second down and 8 from there. Pair of ones as Ben Ely comes over to knock out number 1, Bryce Reeves.
Nice pursuit by the Titans defense.
From under center split backs, and it'll be a give. Trying to go off right tackle. Not much there for Theo Thomas.
Number 21,
He picks up maybe 3. Let's call it third down and 5 from the 25-yard line.
There's that option look that Coach Carswell referred to in the coaches' conversation.
It's third down and 5.
We'll see how they want to play it here, whether they go run or pass on 3rd and 5. Got to get to the 30 after the touchback. And we'll have to wait and find out. Next quarter, we played 12 minutes of football here from Blue Springs, Missouri. It is the Titans 14-0 over the Jaguars from Blue Springs South. Back with a second quarter after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backcourt Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
High school sports fans, check this out. 810varsity.com now brings live video game casts for more than 25 KC Metro schools all season long. Now you can watch and listen to the games live on your computer, iPad, or phone. Park Hill South, Miege, Aquinas, the Olathe and Blue Valley schools, and the list goes on and on. Plus, live scores, playoff brackets, rankings, and more. Get all the games live at 810varsity.com.
Welcome back out here to Blue Springs South High School in Blue Springs, Missouri, home of the Jaguars. Joel Becker and Mark Files as the Lee Summit West Titans take it on the Jaguars. 14-0 Lee Summit West after 1 quarter of play. Like I said, a bit of a slow start. Their defense has played well the whole game, but their offense getting clicking the last couple of drives.
Well, we'll just blame it on the business trip, taking the ride over from
Bus
Lee
legs.
Summit. Bus legs, exactly.
Having to come up here in rush hour and all.
The offense got here a few minutes after the defense, so just call it that. How's that?
3rd down and 5. And Parker back to throw from the shotgun, throwing over the middle, and it is incomplete. Overthrown. There was contact by Watson, who actually pushed off. Literally almost pushed the quarterback to the ground.
It did.
I think the back judge was ready to throw a flag, but realized there was not going to be a catch.
Yeah, and it was an uncatchable ball,
yeah.
So they let the play go. Nice coverage, though, by Dooley.
It's one of those things, though, offensive pass interference, the Titans may very well have taken it and let them, play another, a 3rd and 15 or something.
Sure.
But they didn't get the chance as Haney standing back at his own 45. Parker, a low snap, but he fields it well, and the kick is high and this time deep. And Haney fields it on the run, drops the football, and he's going to get tackled at the 20-yard line. They'll give him maybe the 19. Boy, it's been an adventure for Brian today.
It has, and you know what? That wind from the south to the north.
It must be stronger than
what it looks.
Yeah, because obviously the kick was way longer than the previous Parker kicks had been. He actually made a great play to field it on the run, but then dropped it after he did.
Made a great over-the-shoulder catch.
Yeah. So this is the worst field position for the Titans by far for the game. We'll see, though, what they can do. They marked him down at the 18. Harden out in the pistol with Surratt. Twins on the right. And it'll be Surratt looking for a hole up the middle. Couldn't find much, got out to the 20, maybe the 21. It'll be a pickup of a couple. Second and a long 7 or a short 8. Just underway here in the second quarter of play. Titans on top 14-0. But for the first time, backed up against their own end zone, starting their drive before the 20.
This is a nice challenge for Harden. Playing on the longer field, being inside his own 20, starting the drive. Let's see what he can put together here and maybe use some more clock.
Well, it's Hines who actually comes out now for this play on the Wildcat, and he gives it, trying to go around left tackle. Surratt with the carry. They may have gotten a yard or two, but it'll set up a third down. Let's call it 3rd and 7 from there.
Doesn't look like they gave him anything, did they, Joel? 2 maybe? Is that what it was?
I'd say a yard. It depends. If you gave him 2 on the first, he got another 2. If you gave him 3 on the first, it was 1. We'll put it that way. Harden is back out for this third down play. He's got Surratt in the pistol behind him and Twins on the right side. He looks that direction, throwing on the out. Oh, almost tipped from one receiver to the next as it was intended for Coble. And it went off his hands, and Dickerson behind him almost came up with the tip drill.
I'll tell you what, that's a pass that needs to be caught.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't a very well thrown ball, but it was definitely catchable.
Well, and it was a little late. But I wonder how much the wind played with that factor.
I don't know. Hard to say.
Because it looked like it was taken off a little bit.
Well, this will be interesting for Sweeney, kicking into the wind for the first time. Standing on his own 6. And, of course, you need a good snap as well. And a bit high, but he gets it. And the kick is a line drive, and it will go out of bounds about the 45. They're going to knock it up to the 47. And, again, best field position to start off with for the Jaguars for the day.
Best part about that kick or that punt, no return.
Yeah, no chance of a return. He was trying to go for distance, I think, on the line drive kick, but I think it angled a little further to the sideline more than he had wanted.
I was looking at the skies to the north. They're pretty cloudy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. The wind's picked up a bit.
But it's all north and west of us, I believe, where the weather is right now.
We were definitely expecting the possibility of scattered showers as we get a whistle and a flag down, some sort of a illegal procedure against the Jaguars. We only had a couple of penalties in this game so far, and they've both been to Blue Springs South, one illegal use of the hands, and then this one.
Knock on wood. Congratulations to the D-line, the young D-line starting out. They got through the first period. No jumping off sides. That's an improvement over last week.
Yeah, they didn't give up any first downs.
That's right.
So 1st and 15 after the penalty pushes them back to their own 42. On the snap, Parker gives, and a good stutter step, and a great open field tackle coming up on the play was Dooley. And I tell you what, Theo Thomas it looked like he had some pretty good running room, but couldn't really get it going as Dooley stepped up and got him on the ankle tackle.
That's great when the 221s get together like that, because that was, like you said, Dooley took away that running lane for sure on the outside.
Maybe a yard. We'll call it 2nd down and 14. For the Jaguars from their own 43. Parker from the pistol. He's got his H-back to the right this time. And they'll give it again, and this time with some pretty good running up the middle. And boy, without a touchdown-saving Grauberger tackle, that could have gone an even longer way, as the longest run from scrimmage for the day for Theo Thomas puts the Jaguars into Titan territory. This may be the first time they've been in Titan territory all game long.
It is.
First down from the Titan 38. Quickly on the snap, give it again to Thomas up the middle. He gets to the 35. It'll be a pickup of 3 and 2nd down and 7.
That was a nice run by Thomas, by the way. Got his shoulder square, went straight up the field.
They slow things down on this play after one little quick run.
You know, Park Hill tried that several times last week against the Titans. I wonder if that's something they picked up in scouting the game from last week.
Option play as Parker tosses. Thomas hurdles one man, but he was met by Grauberger and then finished off after a gain of maybe 1 as Ely came over to help out. And it'll set up a 3rd down and about 5 from there.
That was great pursuit by the Titans. They got in there, read the option, and got it turned back infield to the Cavalry so they could make the play on the running back.
Looks like they may go split backs this time on 3rd down and 6. Parker still from the shotgun. He's got single wideouts on either side. And they will hand off trying to go left tackle. And Davion Stokes, not much there. He will be stopped. They may be in 4-down territory, though, as he will pick up maybe a yard to the 33. They need to get to the 28 of the Titans. It'll set up 4th down. And like I said, really in 4-down territory here. Although with the wind, you never know. It would be about a 50-yard field goal. That's a lot for most high school kickers.
That's a lot.
Even with the wind.
Even for a college kicker, I'm telling you.
And so they'll go for it. 4th down, let's call it 4. Titans were pretty good at stopping this last week. We'll see what happens here. They go with the pistol formation. Parker from the shotgun. Back to throw. He's looking. Throws over the middle. Incomplete. Through the hands of the tight end, Seib. And so a turnover on downs. And the Titans will take over on their own 33 or 32.
Nice job by Ben Ely being there in the passing lane.
A little surprised at the play call, actually.
Timeout on the field.
I would have thought as they're going to go with their water break timeout now as we're about halfway through, 7 minutes, 14 seconds left to go in this first half.
Surprised in the fact that they threw or where they threw the ball to?
No, just the actual throw itself, that on a play like that, 4th down, I was expecting them to run the ball based on what they've done up until now. If they were going to toss it, you would have expected a more, sure thing, so to speak.
Yeah, I would have
maybe a swing pass or something.
Swing pass, yeah, I would say something that faked in and then moved more towards the sidelines, gave him more room to work. A little less traffic to the outside, of course.
Well, either way.
Again, that's why we're setting up here,
I was just going to say.
And we proved that last week.
They didn't ask us. And if they had, they probably wouldn't have believed us.
I still think that's a great promo for us.
Oh?
You get to pick the play. We've talked about that for years. You get to call the first offensive play of the second half.
Well, if we ever decided to replace, if COVID had gone the other direction and we eventually had to replace high school football with Madden or something like that, we could probably do that. Boy, could you imagine that? Just nothing but simulations.
Oh.
We'd be living in the Matrix.
Oh, my. Well, the Army's kind of doing that right now, aren't they, flying drones?
No.
Or the Army, Air Force, Marine,
I was going to say.
Navy.
So the Titans, after a couple of touchdown drives, stalled out the last time they had the football with poor field position.
Oh, there it is. We got
we got lightning. So it looks like we are going to go to a half-hour delay. One thing I got to say that I like about the way that we do things, we're not on actual broadcast terrestrial radio anymore, is we can just stop our broadcast and pick it up.
Yes, we can.
When the half an hour is over, instead of just blathering on about how many states there are.
Yeah, but think about the fun we had at North Kansas City.
That's what I was thinking of.
3 hour
remember?
Oh, my God.
That's why I brought that up. I was saying we got to the point where we were counting states that night. You remember that?
We were. and, boy, the coaches for West were so aggravated because they didn't want to come back Saturday morning because they had – okay, it's a fish story. So half the team was getting ready to take the ACT the next morning. So that's what they were battling against.
You're right. And eventually ended up having to deal with it anyway.
That's right.
I still think the out of all of them, the strangest one was the one where they just called it off in the middle of the game.
Yes.
I am, to this day, I've been a broadcaster for over 30 years doing football games since the mid-'80s, before lots of people were born.
Yes.
And yet I have only one time in my entire career, and it was that one, seen a football game not get finished but still count as a game.
Yeah,
and I understand it was a lopsided game. What was it, like 48-7 or something like that? And they had just lost their second-string quarterback.
Yes.
And would have had to go with their third-string quarterback the next day, and I don't blame them for doing it. It was just really weird. You don't see it.
No, you don't. And the only other reference point is a preseason game way back in the 70s where it was just raining cats and dogs. I think it was the Bears and the Chiefs. And it was just lightning in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And they said, this is nuts, we're done.
Well, sure, preseason you can do that.
Most definitely.
But this was a real game, and it still counted the way it actually did. And, of course, you know, I have a baseball background, so it's not unusual for me to see games not go to completion and still count in baseball.
That's right.
But in football, I had never seen that happen before, where it was still third quarter, wasn't it?
Yes. And so how does that happen? It goes down as a we concede, we forfeit,
Well, it wasn't really a forfeit. It was just they just called it the end of the game at that point.
Yeah.
There's really not a provision in the rules for it. They just allowed it to happen.
Yeah. And just said we won't call you out for not showing up tomorrow morning.
All right. So what do you want to do? We've got this half-hour delay minimum. Whenever there is a lightning strike, they send all the kids to the locker room. At least, I tell you what,
anyway.
I was going to say, if you remember last year, one of the problems, and we never ran into this problem last year, but with all the COVID stuff, they weren't in locker rooms last year. They had these like tent cities that they had set up. Could you imagine if they had to endure a storm in that situation?
Well, and how about us? I mean, we were sitting in the bleachers. Yeah. I mean, it would have been, tear everything down and reset it up.
Yeah,
so
we got a roof.
We do.
Which is nice.
And
a good camera.
It feels like that rain's coming out of the northwest, so we've got a press box shielding us from most of the rain and damage. Right. So I'll tell you what we're going to do here. Let's take a quick gander at scores around town here.
We can do that. I'll pull up what I can on my phone, too.
Okay.
Isn't it nice to be able to do that?
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
And, back in the day when we had to rely on a ticker or something.
That's right. And we're going to start out with a big one here. Adrian and Lighthouse Christian. Adrian's up 14-zip.
I got that one. And the Eudora Baldwin game at 26-0. Baser Linwood 27-6 over Tonganoxie. The Wyandotte, would that be Wyandotte County? They're Leavenworth County.
They're Leavenworth and
Leavenworth
Douglas,
County.
Right?
Yeah. No, Baser Linwood.
But Tonganoxie, is that?
No, Tonganoxie is in Leavenworth County. I'm pretty sure they both are.
Belton Ruskin, no score in the first quarter.
Bishop Miege and Blue Valley North, a final 51-24. I wonder if that was yesterday's game.
It was last night. Matter of fact, there's a
most of the Kansas ones
were. Yeah, they start on Thursday night.
Yeah, well, the KU was playing tonight.
Yeah.
So
and there was a meme going around of Coach Drinkwitz, the head coach of Mizzou. He was at that game last night, and he had his concession nachos with the cheese just piled with double peppers. And so people were just giving him a ton of grief for eating the nachos there at the high school ball game.
Okay, Bishop Ward 7-0 over Sumner. Blair Oaks 34-8 over Knob Noster. That's a second quarter score. Here's a Kansas game that's going on now. Blue Valley Northwest and Blue Valley High, 7-0 Northwest. Huskies. And then also the other Blue Valleys going at it, Southwest and West. Blue Valley Southwest 7-3 over Blue Valley West. Boonville and Holden are scoreless.
It's a barn burner, my friend.
My former partner would be interested in knowing.
Yes, he would.
Center and Capital City 20-0. Is that St. Joe Center?
No, that is Kansas City Center.
Oh, Kansas City Center, okay.
And then Capital City's the newest high school in Jeff City.
Yeah, I figured that part.
Well, DeSoto help you out there,
22-0 over Turner. Pembroke Hill 6-0 over East. East Buchanan 7-0 over Trenton. Second quarter score there. In the fourth, Summit Christian 49-0 over Fort Scott.
Wow.
Penny 22-0 over Gallatin in the second quarter. Grain Valley 14-0 over Oak Park. Park Hill South 6-0 over Grandview. That would have been a important score to the Titans at one time in school history.
Yes, it would have.
Platte County 14-3 over Kearney. That's Platte County has been a good team.
They have.
I don't know if Kearney's down this year. I've never heard them ever be down. So.
Yeah, no, they've had. I think they've got some young kids starting and playing ball for them this year.
Chillicothe 20-0 over Kirksville in the Battle of the Northwest. Lafayette County 9-0 over Lawson. From yesterday, Free State in Lawrence beat Shawnee Mission Northwest 49-0, and the other Lawrence team, it was Lawrence High School, and they won 28-7 was the final in their game, as both Lawrence City teams got off to 1-0 starts on their Thursday night debut. Let's see here. We've got Lee Summit North and Lee Summit. Boy, a early rivalry game as the Broncos leading 13-0 in the second quarter there. Leavenworth, Shawnee Heights, Leavenworth 13-0 at halftime. Liberty North on Liberty. Boy, there's already these
early game.
Rivalry games early in the season. Liberty North 17-6 over Liberty. Spring Hill 7-0 over Lewisburg. Maryville 7-0 over Harrisonville.
That's a big game there.
Yeah, it's in the second quarter, about 5 minutes to go in the half. Mid-Buchanan 7-0 over Southeast. They're knotted up. Boy, a big game, Mill Valley and Gardner-Edgerton. 7-7 with 8 to go in the second quarter. 15-0 North KC over St. Joe Central. So you're right, it wasn't St. Joe Central, unless they're playing 2 games today. 6:54 to go in the second quarter there. Odessa 14-0 over Lansing. I mentioned the Lawrence over Olathe East 28-7 the final there. Olathe North beats Shawnee Mission South. They're beating them anyway, 21-0. That's a second quarter score. Olathe West over Olathe Northwest 14-7. Bonner Springs and Paola are scoreless in the first. Park Hill on Rockhurst. Boy, last week's opponent there, I told you that was a closer game because Rockhurst played well.
Yes, they did.
And they're getting beat by Park Hill right now anyway, 10-7. Trojans over the Hawklets with about 7.5 to go in the second quarter there. It was a final Piper over Ottawa 56-7. That was yesterday. Ray-Pec and Blue Springs don't really have a score from that yet. They just basically are scoreless from what we have seen, just not being reported. Here's a real barn burner for you. Ray Town and Ray South, 2-0 is the score with 4:14 to go in the first quarter.
I've got an update for you. It's 21-0.
I like my score better. I think it's still 2-0.
2-0, that's it.
I like that score better. Let's see. Shawnee Mission North, Shawnee Mission East scoreless. Shawnee Mission West, Olathe South scoreless. West Platte 13-7 over South Harrison with just before halftime. St. Joe Benton and Pleasant Hill 23-6 in the second quarter there.
We saw, as we were coming over here, our handy-mandy cameraman Miles and I were in the truck. We came across 50 and then up 7 to Blue Springs South, and we saw St. Joe Benton heading to Pleasant Hill.
Really?
And that was at 5:30.
Wow.
And there was the team buses, and I was going, man, they're awful late.
I was going to say, maybe that's how they got their first 14 points because the other team wasn't there yet. Atchison and St. Joe Lafayette, 24-21 for Lafayette toward the end of the first quarter there. St. Pius over St. Michael's, 21-3. That's got to mean something to somebody. St. Pius and St. Michael's. I don't know what they're the patron saints of.
They are both, Pius is a football power, so it would be the St. Pius football power to the north. That's north versus south on that one.
Okay. St. Thomas Aquinas and St. James Academy, they're in a rain delay there. Wonder how many of those. There's another one at Fort O and Staley. By the way, Fort O, 14-7 over Staley.
Yeah.
As Coach Rampy getting his second game in as the coach of Staley.
That's kind of a unique story there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Him transferring over.
From Lawrence High to Staley. University Academy in Plattsburgh, it's 28-14 in the second there. Excelsior Springs 21-13 over Warrensburg in the second quarter. Smithville and William Christman's 21-0 Smithville in the second quarter. And that's all the scores I got.
That's all the scores you got. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to post it up as a delay here.
Well, that's what it is.
And that's what it is. I'm going to put that in as the score. And we're going to turn the mics down, and we'll leave the camera up, and we'll wait and see what we got going on.
So we're going to keep streaming silence for a while?
We'll just stream silence
for
a while, okay?
So if you're listening in, this is our ode to Simon and Garfunkel with the sounds of silence here. 14-0 our score. We are, 7:14 left to go in the first half. with the Titans on top by a pair of touchdowns. So stick with us. We'll get back to football as soon as they start playing it again here from Blue Springs, Missouri on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com. Well, we are back live here from Blue Springs, Missouri. The rain has come and gone. The lightning never reappeared, and we are back to football. 7:14 to go here in the second quarter, and on the first play from scrimmage, it's Jackson Surratt up the middle as he gets near the 40-yard line, across the 35 to the 37. It'll be a pickup of 4, 2nd and 6. As we are back underway, the Lee Summit West Titans on top of the Blue Springs South Jaguars, 14-0 our score. And we're getting an official timeout for, looks like an injury to Devion Stokes. By the way, that's one thing I have noticed about this Jaguar team is they don't do nearly as much platooning as most Class 6 teams do.
They don't. And part of that is they're building with the young kids, and they're playing the kids that are the players right now to keep them competitive. Class 6 is a tough place to get wins week in and week out.
On the second down give, Surratt will hit the line between the guards. Still pick up maybe a yard. And it'll set up a third down for the Titans. They lead at 14-0. Joel Becker and Mark Files here on Titan Football. Here on 810varsity.com and lswradio.com. We appreciate you sticking with us through the delay. Less entertaining than our North Kansas City experience, but a lot easier on you and I.
It was, and for those of you that missed out on the homemade cookie recipe, reach out to me through social media, and I'll see if I can help you out.
Yeah, those were pretty good, actually. All right, third down and 5, and, a sack. As actually it was a good job by Harden to pull the ball down and not try and force it. It'll be a loss of 6, maybe 7, let's call it 7, 4th down and 12 in a punting situation for the Titans. You know, it's tough coming back off of a delay like that and really getting going.
It is. It would have been the same scenario if Blue Springs was on offense. The defense just has a little bit of advantage in situations like that.
Sweeney back to punt. Interestingly, I think the wind has actually shifted the other direction. And it's a pretty good punt, end-over-end kick. Oh, and it's muffed. The ball is loose, and it is going to be the Jaguars' football. They do manage. I don't know if it actually went out of bounds or if the player got possession of it before it went out of bounds, but either way, the Jaguars will retain possession and have it at about the 36, 37-yard line.
It definitely was recovered before it bounced out of bounds.
So we'll see this Jaguar offense. They've struggled to move the ball in the game overall.
Another 32-yard punt with no return.
Could have gone even better than that.
That's right.
So 5:11 to go here in the first half. Titans on top by a pair of touchdowns. They go pistol to start things off, and it is a give, and Theo Thomas, not much there.
Number 21, Theo Thomas, the ball carrier.
A loss of a yard, 2nd down and 11.
That has got to be tough of having a rain delay as a running back and then trying to get your mojo back, getting upfield. The only thing I can equate it to is like being a baseball pitcher after a rain delay.
It is, and not only that, though, in this situation, unlike a pitcher, you're relying on that front line of yours, your offensive line, to open holes up, and it's hard on them, too. First of all, not only getting their body going, but also everybody's wet out there. So that actually gives an advantage to defensive players. It's harder for the offense to keep them, from coming in. There's a flag, and we get a catch, but there I believe is going to be a hold in the backfield as Swan was literally tackled by one of the offensive linemen. So I think this one's coming back. It was a gain of probably about 4 on 2nd and 11, but instead, it'll be the spot of the foul, which was well into the backfield, probably about the 31. If they take him back to the 21, it'll set up a 2nd down and 22 yards to go, which is, in fact, the case. Let's see.
All the way back to 21. Wow.
20. Wait, that's even further. So it's 25, 2nd and 25. From the spot of the foul. Trips on the right. H-back to the right, throw by Parker, and it is caught. Got his tight end Seib for the first time. So a pickup of maybe 4 or 5 up to the 28-yard line. It'll set up a third down and a ton from there. Third and let's call it 18 after a pickup of 7. Under 4 minutes to go in the half as the clock continues to count. Third and long. Cash Parker from the shotgun. He's got a man behind him in the pistol formation. Now he'll move out to the left side in the slot. Trips on the right, Twins on the left. He's looking left. Now he throws over the middle. He's got a man downfield, and a great defensive play by Brian Haney to break that up because Watson had a step on him, but he closed the gap, got the hands up, and broke the play up.
Excellent job, just like you said, Joel. That's the one difference over last year's team in the secondary for the Titans versus this year. The kids are a lot more engaged in the secondary, and we're getting great cornerback and safety play.
So Parker will go back to punt it away, standing at his own 15. Of course, interestingly, Haney, who just made the great defensive play, is also back for the punt return. He's had a bit of an advantage. And, of course, the ball could be a little wet, too, for all that we know. Haney's going to let it bounce. It does take a Jaguar bounce in across the 35 to about the 33. And the Titans will get the ball back there.
Ball down near the 33-yard line. 39-yard punt, no return.
So another good bounce to help out Parker.
Most definitely, and you know, Haney played that one right. It was way
on
the other side of the field from him, just got away. He was letting everybody else know, stay away from the wild ball.
And again, hopefully understanding that the ball, if it bounces on the turf, probably is going to be wet right now. And, you know, they learned on the other side that it's not easy. Harden in the pistol with an H-back to the right. And on a play action to Surratt, he'll roll to his left side with some time. Now he's hit and sacked. A good defensive play there by Hayden Meyer, who came off of his block. But Harden really needs to get rid of that football before then.
Way too slow getting out of that rollout, and he ran right into the back of the blocker for him, and which just made him an easy target to get tackled.
A loss of 6, second down and 16. Ball's inside the 30 at about the 28. They need the 43. We're down under 3 minutes left to go in the half. Titans in no hurry right now. Split backs. They're going to go Wildcat and roll into the left side, trying to reverse directions now. Getting around the right side, he breaks a tackle and steps out of bounds, does Hines. They'll mark him out at the 37. Ended up getting quite a bit from a play that was broken. Not maybe the best designed play, but it worked out for him.
Well, again.
And boy, if he could have stayed in bounds.
You can get away with that in Class 4 and Class 5. Class 6, it makes it real difficult to do that. He was fortunate enough to get back across the field and make a positive play out of that.
He gained about 10 yards, maybe 9, 10. He sets up a third down and a much more makeable 6. Let's call it 7. The ball's at the 37. They got to get to the 43. So 3rd and 6. Harden back to throw. Oh, he's getting a
face mask.
Yeah, it was. And they do got the flag comes in. He is sacked. And then he was pushed a little bit at the end as well. It was a good defensive play by Jenkins with the penetration, but he got a hand up on the face mask. That was way too easy to see.
The home crowd liked that call, didn't they?
Not so much. Now, is that a 15-yard? Because if they do it from the spot of the foul, I'm not sure how that works in high school.
Well, if you get to 15, it's not. I don't believe it's an automatic.
It's not an automatic first down, but I think 15 yards from where the spot of the foul was would get them the first down anyway, even from the spot. I don't know what exactly they're waiting on.
I think they're discussing, is it incidental or is it the full 15?
Right, the 5-yard variety or the 15. I'm not sure. I didn't know if there was a 5-yard variety in high school or not.
There is.
Well, it probably was. But I think it would keep the down and third down.
It would.
So the Titans should have an opportunity either way. But if it is 15 yards, it wouldn't be an automatic first down, but I think the yardage would give it to them. So we're waiting for the indication. So let's see what they do walking it off here. The spot of the foul was apparently the 29, and so they are only giving them the 5 yards, which puts the ball up to the 34, but it'll set up a 3rd down and 9 from there with the sack and the penalty. So kind of a strange way to do the rules, but
it is.
But it's the way it works. It's relatively consistent in high school. Pistol formation, Harden. And on play action, he gets a blitz. He lets it go. He's got a man down the far side, and it's intercepted.
Nope.
And he did. Actually, to be honest, might have been the best thing if he had picked it off.
Been as good as a punt, Joel.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It was Howard on the coverage. And like you said, he got the ball but couldn't maintain control as he went down to the turf. Although, again, like you said, that would have been as good as a punt. But now they actually get to punt, and last time they muffed it, so who knows? Maybe this will work out better. The problem is you never know. As likely as it is that the returner would fumble it again, it's just as likely they may snap it over the punter's head, or you never know. I mean,
bite your tongue, man. We don't want any of that kind of mojo happening, that's for sure. But again, like you've talked about, the field's wet, the ball's wet.
Right.
You got to really focus. Sweeney's got his gloves on, so I don't know if that helps or not. It hurts.
It is a high snap, but he got it. Oh, and then it was blocked. But it takes a Titan bounce, and it goes all the way inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line. Boy, what an adventure that one was, as it turned out.
Yes, it was. That's a lot of I credit clean living on that.
So the Jaguars will take over. A minute 47 left to go in the half, trailing the Titans 14-0. I don't know. They come out, throwing the football and taking their chances on the 2-minute offense, or does are they worried that we could see Chase Hammond step up again or something like that?
Oh, they got to be aggressive. This is a momentum builder right here for them.
They instead give the ball up the middle, and Theo Thomas, with only about a yard gain, it'll set up 2nd down. Not really going with a hurry up, so Titans will get the ball to start off the second half, if you're wondering. Trips on the right, one man on the left. Now Thomas goes into the slot on the left side, so an empty backfield for Parker. From the shotgun, takes the snap. 3-man rush, not getting to him. Now he'll roll to the right side, and they step up, and a sack behind the line as a great job of penetration. I think that was Ramsey who jumped up.
That is Hammond, 22.
22, 33, they're all the same.
They are. They're all interchangeable this year.
So it'll be a 3rd down. They're calling it 3rd and 9. He lost maybe a yard on the play. And we may be getting a timeout by the Titans.
Yeah, saving a little
see if they can get some
field position here.
Well, it's 3rd down and 9, and the Jaguars were seemingly reluctant to go to the air, obviously. They did on that play, but it was good coverage by the Titans, and Parker didn't want to force it in, so they figure with a 3rd and 9, they can hopefully get a stop and get a punt, and who knows?
A block, a big return by Haney.
I was going to say, Haney ran one to the house last week, so.
Get a fair catch and throw one to the house. See if you can get a big score on a Hail Mary type pass.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, the one thing that we need to really focus on with Harden at quarterback is he is, since we've come back out from the rain delay, he's been really slow getting rid of that ball. His timing's just off. So he's got to wake up a little bit, pick up the pace a little bit, and recognize when that clock in your head that I've got 2.5, maybe 3 seconds to throw it.
And, of course, they have to stop him here on 3rd and 9.
You know, that's the worst part about quarterbacks wearing the red jersey in practice is you don't get hit.
Right.
Okay, so that messes with that mental clock in your head.
They did in the replacements.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Empty backfield for Parker. Trips on the left, one man on the right. On the quarterback draw up the middle. He's hit and tackled. Once again, Swan, who's played a real good game with penetration. He couldn't stop him as the Titans will call timeout again here and stop the clock. But Swan had him. He was able to gain about 3, but there was no way he was getting the whole 9.
Nice job by Swan on his penetration, playing his gap assignment and getting upfield and tracking the play. Love how the D-line is staying home, doing their job and trusting their teammates, and it makes it really tough for the opponent to run when everybody does their job.
Rain's coming down again, by the way.
Love rain. Rain is fun in football.
Well, it is, although I tell you what, it is. You would have thought that the rain coming through here earlier would have cooled things off, and it's just gotten muggier out here.
Yeah, I think it's set it up for some more rain to come in tonight and a thunderstorm or two, I'm sure.
So, again, Parker, who is the quarterback, is also their punter. Although the ball is still back on the 30, I can't imagine them going for a fake in this situation. Half a minute to go in the first half. He's standing on his own 15. We'll see if he gets a good snap. He does. They come after him and they block it. A blocked punt. It is loose near the goal line into the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown, Titans. As looks like it was Rylan Williams who came up with the recovery in the end zone. Now, I wasn't totally sure if they were going to give him the touchdown on that, because isn't it a situation in high school where you can't advance a blocked punt once you recover it?
No, that is a muffed punt reception.
I see, okay. I wasn't sure if you could, but he never really had possession until he was in the end zone anyway, so I figured it was going to work either way. So Abercrombie with the hold, Hannah out for the extra point. The timeouts end up paying off as the block punt. Hannah's extra point is up, and it is good. 26 seconds left to go in the half. The Titans extend their lead 21-0 over Blue Springs South. Back with the kickoff coming up after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
810 Varsity takes you through the football season like never before. Watch games live throughout Kansas and Missouri, and even postseason action at 810varsity.com. Plus live tournament brackets, top 25, Elite 81 All-Metro team, live scoreboard, stories, and more. Check out Kansas City's new home for high school sports coverage. 810varsity.com.
Welcome out to Blue Springs, live with you on Lee Summit West Titan Football. Joel Becker and Mark Files as the Titans on top of the Jaguars, 21-0 with about 26 seconds left to go in the first half. I vote that we finish and then go right to the second half. We already had a half-hour delay with the rain, so what do you think?
I would love to do that. I don't know that you can do that, but I'd love to do it.
It's my vote.
You got two here. I think Mr. Miles, our cameraman, he'd vote for that as well. Is that lightning?
I was going to say, I thought I saw a flash. And on the short punt, coming up the near sideline and out to about the 38, 39-yard line. It was a pretty good return there by Dante Maley. Maybe that was flash photography.
I hope it is.
That's what I'm going with. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. But you'd hate to have them have a half-an-hour delay with. Now, if they did do that with 20 seconds to go in the half, that would be a time where you would think they could come back
and just run the clock off.
Yeah, and just play the second half right immediately. but I don't know. We'll see what they do here. Will they go for the home run? Parker from the shotgun. Back to throw, and he gets hit and sacked. He was looking to go downfield, possibly maybe looking for one of those hook and lateral plays or something like that.
Well,
I think I saw another flash of lightning, by the way. But it could be far as they use these detectors, so whether you see it or not, that's going to do it though for the first half. So at least we managed to get through that. 21-0 our score. Lee Summit West over the Blue Springs South Jaguars. It's been kind of wild and woolly. We hope the rain and storms stay away, but we will take a break and get to halftime coming up after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
No matter what your goals are, competing at the next level, participating in a local 5K, or leading your team to state, the Sports Medicine Center at Children's Mercy is here to provide comprehensive 360-degree care for student athletes. Performance training, injury prevention, rehab services, nutrition, mental wellness, surgery, and more. It's not just about the next goal or the one after that. It's about supporting a lifetime of sport and helping every student athlete play healthy.
The year was 1881, and young Reuben Baylor was making his way along near the Missouri River, finding work when he could and living the only life he knew. But when he come on old Arliss Height, beat to hell and near shot to death, Rube done what he could for him. He didn't know that act of kindness was going to wind up changing his whole life, but it did. Green as grass, Rube was a long way from being any kind of pistolier or shootist, but when Marshal Marion Daniels come on him and needed help with the Duncan bunch for what they'd done to Arliss, that tussle growed Rube up right quick. He stopped drifting, found friends worth looking up to, and a young woman that was right admirable.
Deer Run Trail by David Lewis. Available as an e-audiobook at audible.com.
All right, I got a message for you. Radio is the way to go if you want to advertise. Targeting your customers, any shape or size. Radio is a perfect way to tell them who and where you are. They listen at work, they listen at home, and you got them in that car. You got to go with radio when you want to advertise. Here we go, watch me now. Hard rock and soft rock and easy listening too. Up and down the dialer formats just for you. Country, classic, talk, and gospel stations. Every market across the land has got a station for your situation. The cost is low, and radio is theater of the mind. You can present your information with imagination. If you want to get your message across the airways with radio. Call them, they will come right over. Remember, you got to go with radio when you want to advertise. There are lots of stations just your size.
Don't trust the biggest investment of your life to a part-time real estate agent. Trust the #1 real estate team in Kansas and Missouri, the Rob Ellerman team at Reese Nichols. With over 90 agents and 5 offices across the metro, they'll match you up with the perfect agent to get you moving with confidence. They cover the entire metro area, from Lee Summit to the Northland to Johnson County. They also have offices in Des Moines and Springfield, Missouri, and Destin, Florida, if you know of someone looking to move. The Rob Ellerman team truly is your real estate resource. Call anytime at 816-304-4434 or visit therobellermanteam.com. The Rob Ellerman team, a proud supporter of Kansas City Metro High School athletics.
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Well, we are back here at Blue Springs, rainy and thundering Blue Springs. A special extended halftime show for you as the Lee Summit West Titans on top of the Blue Springs South Jaguars. 21-0 our score here at halftime, but we're going to have an extended halftime because there has been lightning in the area as we were seeing and finally hit the detectors, and that means we're in our second delay of the evening. I just saw another flash, by the way, out there, which you might have been able to see on the camera if you're watching. But we do have some halftime numbers for you, and we can eventually start counting states again or whatever we do.
There we go. That's what we do. That's what we do. Let's talk about the team stat comparison. On offense, the Titans have accumulated 132 yards on offense. Blue Springs South has 57. The Titans ran 24 plays to the 28 plays of Blue Springs South. The Titans 5.5 yards per play. Blue Springs South is averaging 2 yards per play. You've got 87 yards in passing for the Titans, 10 for Blue Springs South. The Titans are 3 of 7. They're averaging 29 yards a pass. People are leaving? Yeah. Yeah, follow the people out there, man, while we're doing it. Mr. Miles, our cameraman. The Titans have 45 yards rushing on 17 attempts. 1 fumble, and they did lose it, so that was the first turnover of the season for the Titans. Punting attempts, 4 of them. The average is 33.8 yards on each of those punts, and the Titans have gotten 2 sacks for -2 yards. Time of possession for the Titans, 10 minutes and 31 seconds. The home team, Jaguars, have had the ball 12 minutes and 55 seconds.
We do appreciate your cooperation in clearing the stands and
Titans,
clearing out from
no penalties and no penalty yards. The Jaguars have 5 penalties for 35 yards.
And, of course, one of the big plays, the block punt right before the end of the half.
Yes, it was. Now, it'll be interesting to go back in and look at the tape and see who actually got the block. But what a nice job of scrambling to get the ball in the end zone.
It was, like you said, a total jailbreak in terms of they must have had 6 guys around the punter. And then once the punter was blocked, there was nothing but white jerseys around to to just take it into the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
Or recover it in the end zone.
Riley Williams did an awesome job at tracking that ball down, finding it, and then had enough field presence to fall on it in the end zone.
Right. And, keeping in mind that that was after our first delay, so we're in rainy conditions. You can probably see on the camera feed that the rain, it continues to come down here. And so, yeah, it's definitely, so in a situation like that where you've got rain coming down, you got a wet football, it was snapped to the punter, he punts it, it gets blocked. If you start going, reaching down and trying to scoop the ball up, there's a really good chance you're going to drop it. And, and so, like you said, have the presence of mind to kind of know that there was really nobody from the Jaguars around that could take it away from him, but still let the ball get into the end zone and then fall on it was the best he could have done.
Yes, it was. Now, folks, if you're watching the screen here, you're seeing that rain come down. It looks pretty ominous. It's not that heavy, okay? It's just a nice, steady rain. It's a good soaker. It's the dadgum aerial lightning that's got us on this delay.
Yeah. It's field turf down there, so, it can handle an awful lot of downpour before it would to become unplayable or something like that. There's not really any puddling or anything like that going on. You can see it a little shiny on the camera field, but if you actually were to go down there, you would know that it's not, it drains pretty well.
Yeah, and the fact that this is a quote-unquote holiday weekend.
Yeah.
They're gonna stick here and try to get this game in. Have to.
Oh, I would think so. It's only halftime, and I don't know. You got the radar to pull up for them?
Let's see what the radar looks like if I can find it. Where did I have that radar?
Because before, it just looked like you had a little squall line that was going by.
Well, I got to just refresh that for you. Let me refresh that bad boy. If I can even find it. There we go. I'll refresh that radar here for you and get it to look at it again.
There it is. You need the moving kind.
That is the moving kind. Here it is. It's moving in now.
I don't know. According to radar, we're not getting rained on.
I know. That's what's crazy, isn't it?
I think we are.
I was going to say it'll come back here in just a second, but yeah, I mean it's just a light rain. It's just enough of the.
But what that means though is that it's not. There's no. I mean, the only time you ever see them call a game off is when you have like these huge
monsoon.
Yeah, these huge areas of rain where you can see that even if you waited 2 or 3 hours, it would still be raining.
Yeah.
And in situations like that, the only time they ever allow games like that to continue is when the team's from Columbia or Springfield or something. But in this situation, it's just a little line.
And it's right from the state line coming across.
Yeah, and the only bad part about it is it's not really going like from the northeast to the southwest. It's kind of going along an easterly trajectory, so it's kind of hanging around where we are as opposed to just blowing through. But still, I think it's something that they're not expecting to last for all that long. So we'll have our little half hour here, that's required by Misha rules. And then they'll probably get back to the second half. And the good news is it's the start of the second half, so it'll be a lot easier to restart play and get the kids back to where they would normally be.
This radar's time delayed. It went clear back to 4 o'clock this afternoon.
I was just going to say, that doesn't tell you much of anything.
No, it's
but you can see that it's moving more easterly than north-south, and that's why it's been kind of hanging around here as opposed to just blowing on through.
It's this little nasty cluster right there is what they're worried about. So.
Yeah. So it should get through here. It may end up being slightly longer than half an hour if we were to get another flash. I've seen a couple of flashes, and of course every time there is a lightning strike, it resets the clock for that half an hour. I was kind of hoping that if it happened during a halftime that it didn't count, but that's not the way it works.
Yeah, but here's what it is. Halftime's going to be gone, and we're going to move on. I mean, they're going to play action. Feel sorry for the cheerleaders that probably aren't going to get to do their routine until the end of the game.
Oh, yeah, there won't be a halftime show or anything like that at this point. Boy, that would really – could you imagine they wait the half an hour and then they start the 20-minute halftime? Yeah, they won't do that. I'm just saying, could you imagine it?
You know what? I've seen things like that happen before. And you do that.
Well,
here comes that rain that we were talking about.
It's coming down a little hard. Yeah, a little harder at this point. You can show them the live feed if you want. And then you can really tell if you look at it in the lights like that how it's coming down. But here you can hear it a little bit as well. But again, it's not causing problems with the field, and once it stops raining, it'll drain right out. And we should, of course, you remember back in the day, in your RAPEC days or whatever, or college days or whatever, in games like this situation, boy, the fields would just be a mess.
They would, and we played. I mean, there was aerial lighting. We played, and I can think of.
They're big, tall light poles around here. You're not going to get struck.
Yeah. I can think of 2 games in my career where it was just brutal. And one of them was it was homecoming night at RAPEC. I think it was my junior year, and we were supposed to play Warrensburg, and it rained so much that there was probably 4 to 5 inches of water standing on the football field, and this is before they put the crown on the field there at RAPEC, and so they basically
So you were in a
we didn't even get on the
lake.
field. Yeah, we were in a lake. We didn't even get on the field. And what they did was, and it was a late October, early November time period, so it was colder and all get out.
So
and
they got a bunch of kayaks.
Yeah, we had boat races instead. So what they did was they sent Warrensburg home, and they came back, and we played on a Saturday afternoon.
Oh, wow!
And the coaches were real excited because guess what? We went ahead and had the homecoming dance on Friday night. And so they did put a curfew on us, but if I remember right, we stayed out.
I was just going to say, since when do homecoming kids ever pay attention to curfews?
Yeah, exactly. And then the other one, and I think I told Miles, we talked about this on the way across, McPherson, Kansas. It was Ottawa University against McPherson College, and it, again, was in October. And I can just remember the first punt I returned, field was just a mess, and it had a great crown on it, and the water was running to the sidelines. Well, the punter kicked the ball, and I'll be darned if he didn't kick it towards the home sidelines. And, of course, that's where all the water was. And so, if you catch the ball, you got one thing to do. It's beat the first man and just run straight up field. Well, I'm running between the numbers and the sideline. And so I get there, and then I get hit, and it splashed. And I literally thought I was going to drown because I went face down into it, and the face mask buried into the mud. And, I've got water up, and I can feel it going into my helmet. I can feel it running into my ears. It was a scary feeling. And, of course, nobody's really too eager to get up off of you in that kind of situation.
Sure.
And so, from that point forward, I made the conscious effort. If I'm going down, I'm going down on my back, my shoulder, and I'm going to make sure
turn your head
and turn my head. That's for sure.
He's the only ladies and gentlemen, the only punter that returns punts with a snorkel. But could you?
Oh man, of course I went over and got to the sidelines, and you're looking for a towel, and you come over there, and you got mud all underneath your eyes, and and you're looking for a towel to wipe your face and everything, and oh my goodness.
Surprised the coaches didn't say, "What are you doing over here? Get out there."
Oh yeah, I said, "Oh, I can't see." Yeah, that's the problem.
I know, but that never stopped.
That didn't stop anybody.
I didn't play football, as you know, but it always seemed like whenever somebody would plunk you on the on the rear end or something like that, when you get to first, the first thing they do is send you a steel sign or something like that. And it's like,
Oh yeah. Just get you moving again. That's what it's all about. Yeah, and the guy on the sidelines that always had the towels was our defensive line coach. His name was Coach Bill Bocek. And Coach always had a white towel that he carried over his shoulder. It didn't matter if it was raining, didn't matter if it was sunny, if it was cold, hot, whatever it was. He always had that white towel. It was part of his deal. And, of course, he was the first guy I saw on the side get to the sideline. And he goes, and he used some explicitives, and he said, "Don't touch my
– Yeah, you ain't getting my towel.
You ain't getting my towel."
Boy, that would have been the time to just run up there and bury your face in it.
Oh, he was a piece of work, man.
Well, even better, you take your helmet off, right?
Oh yeah.
And then I'm saying take your helmet off and then sneak in behind him, grab the towel from behind, and have him turn around to see you wiping your helmet off with it. Oh boy!
I promise you, it was the only clean towel we had the whole night.
Yeah. Now that is one of the things about field turf that is kind of nice.
It is. It is. Now you just get covered in little rubber
you get
pieces, little pellets.
Yeah. I hate those. I go out there to interview the coach, and I still
get them filled up in your shoes.
in my shoes. I end up coming back sometimes having to take the shoes off and just dump the little. And it's recycled tire rubber that usually is what they use for that.
We've done this enough. You almost have enough for your own field in your backyard.
There you go.
You kept them all those little pellets that you collected?
Over the years, I probably would by this point. There's actually somebody in my neighborhood who has a baseball field in their backyard that the Royals put in. It was some sort of a
wiffle ball type field. Is that what it was?
It wasn't. I mean, it's just a small baseball field or whatever. It was some sort of a contest that they were running.
Sure.
And he ended up winning the contest, and they came out there and
put it in his backyard.
and they just put in a diamond with a picture. It looks to this day it's still there.
Yeah, that's cool.
It looks nice. It's not exactly Field of Dreams or anything like that, but
Boy. So what did you think of that? We haven't had a chance to talk about Field of Dreams. What did you think of that?
Oh, the game?
The game.
I'm glad to see that they did it, and I would like to see them make it more like the Winter Classic in NHL hockey, where they have at least one of them every year with different teams in it. Because I mean, it was a nice throwback baseball type situation.
That, and of course that part of the state. Big time Cub fans.
Yeah,
there's a lot of White Sox fans. Northern Iowa. There's a lot of it's right there in that Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa area.
It's where Chicago cheating baseball players go to die.
the Black Sox,
yes.
right? The old White Sox, yeah. No, that would be
Shoeless
cool.
Joe.
You just kind of like the Thanksgiving Day games.
Yeah.
You can just say, okay, Chicago Cubs, Chicago White Sox, and let's throw Minnesota Twins in there. They could rotate every third year.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's like kind of like that, but I want to see every team get the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was nice to see the Black Sox uniforms out there, just like from the movie, and so on and so forth. And I wouldn't even necessarily have a problem to allow, say, the White Sox to play one of those games every year there. But I'd also like to see them have a second game then with two different teams so that everybody would get the opportunity.
Yeah. How about a Cards Cubs game? That would be cool.
Absolutely. Are you kidding?
It would be awesome.
Ronald Reagan to call it.
Yep. Ron Reagan.
Did you? He actually did that. Did you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Former president, the late Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
For years, he was in Central Illinois.
Right.
And worked for a radio station there. And this is back in the day. If you ever watched Bull Durham,
they're using
and you saw that with the ticker and you saw them recreating the game from a studio.
The old click.
Yeah. The little
making the
slap
sound.
downs, yeah, and he had the little crowd noise, double off the wall and left, and but they really did that, and it's funny how baseball broadcasts have developed over the years, because when you go back to radio has existed since the 20s. It was 1921, I think, was KDKA in Pittsburgh when they first started. Television was end of the 40s, but they televised baseball games, but the first set of televised games for a long time you really didn't want to see.
Right.
They had like one camera on top of the stadium showing the entire, it was like watching the game from the nosebleed section behind home, and which I'm used to,
right.
But a lot of spectators don't really like that.
Right.
And but baseball teams were petrified of media in those days. They were worried that people would not go to the games if they were being broadcast. And so unlike today when they sell their media rights, and now at this point most teams retain their own media rights and have their own broadcast or whatever. Sometimes they'll go with, like, say, Bally Sports or some group, or MSG Sports for the Yankees or something like that. And they produce their own, and they retain control over who the announcers are and what they do and so on and so forth. But at the very beginning, when you're talking about the 30s and 40s and 50s, different radio stations actually would compete and broadcast the same game,
and they'd all be in what is press row with the sports
yes
writers,
and no. In some teams' cases that was true, but in a lot of teams' cases they wouldn't let them in.
So they would pick the feet up?
They would sit outside the stadium somewhere. Like in how in Wrigley Field they'll sit out on Waveland Avenue and watch from outside. They would find spots like that, in the old Sportsman Park in St. Louis or whatever. They would find places that they could actually watch the game that wasn't inside the park, where the team didn't have any control over it, and call the game and put it on their radio station. And there would oftentimes be 2 or 3 feeds of the same game inside the same city.
Wow.
They'd allow visitors to come in, because it didn't make any difference, if the Pittsburgh group came in or something like that. But and then slowly but surely they started moving more toward, let's regulate this or figure out how to do it. But in the case of smaller towns, it didn't work the way it does now, in terms of you have
affiliates.
You have the one, the Denny Matthews call that is going out on some sort of a satellite, or nowadays it can be done over, IP audio or any number of other ways to do it, and different stations just pick it up. What would happen is the individual small towns would recreate their own versions of the baseball games based on that ticker feed. And you mentioned the quote unquote ticker, which all it was a wireless, like it was literally a piece of tape, and it was not very descriptive at all. All you would see on it is, like, for example, a little tick would come in and it would say B1, which was ball 1.
Right.
And then, S1 or whatever, and then maybe it would say 1B, or it would say 4-3 or something like that. That's all it would tell you. And so when they were recreating these games, the announcers were just making up all the plays that were going on. So if it said like 4-3, he would say something like swinging a ground ball to second, dives to his left, makes the play, and throws to first for the out. Who knows? If it could have been completely routine. Yeah. It could have been a great play. And they just sort of picked and chose what they could do. And Ronald Reagan actually told a story about that one time, because what would happen is, technology was not infallible in those days, and those tickers would go down a lot.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they would be recreating a game, and the ticker would just fail. And so for, 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes, they'd have no new information about what was going on in the game. And so they would just have to make stuff up. And usually they would try and delay. And usually it was, it was only a matter of seconds, like maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute or two. And you could, pitchers go into the rosin bag, he's cleaning off his cleats, or whatever, and do that. And Ron was saying that there was a time where that happened, and it ended up being down for over 10 minutes, and so he finally just started having to call pitches, even though he didn't know what had happened in the at-bat. So he has the pitcher throw a pitch, and it's a ball, and then it's a strike, and eventually the count goes to 3-2, and the batter starts fouling pitches off. So it stays 3-2 while the guy is fouling pitches off over and over. And he said, I remember spending like 3 minutes describing a bunch of little kids going after a foul ball that he had hit, just to waste the time. And he's finally, about 15 minutes later, the ticker comes back on, and it says that the guy popped out on the first pitch of the at-bat. And he says, maybe I shouldn't tell that story. People don't trust politicians enough as it is.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. And then look where we are today.
Yeah, it is definitely changed quite a bit.
Oh.
But at any rate, you and I have talked about that in terms of, when I first started in broadcasting, I was doing college football in the 80s, and the only way to get the signal to the station was over a phone line. And so you had, it was not unusual to have college games, but games like this one would not have done in those days.
No.
If it was a small town maybe, and, it was the only game in town, a radio station could probably justify selling enough ads to actually put the money in. Because, in those days, if you wanted to do an away game, you were probably paying at a minimum $300.
Right.
Because just for the phone line, because you would have to pay Ma Bell to go out to the stadium and install a phone line just for you for that game as visiting radio.
And we did that our very first game when we did
I remember.
Lee Summit West versus Raytown South.
Because they only had the IP version of phones in those days.
And we convinced them to turn the phone line on, and I split the cost with the AD at that time. So we could have it.
We were using a device called a hotline, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
And it was still IP, audio over IP, or as they call it, internet protocol. But it was using a modem version of it. So you needed a phone line because it was still dial-up in those days to be able to get internet service. You got a better signal than we did back in the 80s when you were using a Comrex unit or something like that sounded like you were on the phone. Nowadays, like we were talking about, I can go out to, in the middle of Nebraska or in the middle of Iowa, bring with me cameras and equipment that is sophisticated enough to do Channel 4 news on with green screens and, guys standing in front of things with backgrounds you can put in or whatever. We don't do a lot of that stuff, but we can, and go out and do that from pretty much anywhere we want.
You made me nervous. I had to look at my hotspot, make sure how much battery I got, and of course we got the cords to hook it up, so we'll be fine on the Wi-Fi. But that's what's insane about this is I was just thinking as you were telling that story, in that first season, 2005, we went from you don't have a phone line, how are we going to do it? Well, I had the old flip phone. And it had the certain connector, and it just so happened you had the cord, and we were able to make it work, and we ran it off of a cell phone.
Right.
And then we get to the playoffs, St. Joe Benton, and we're in a metal barn, 2-story.
Couldn't get a
box,
signal.
and we couldn't get a signal on the cell phone.
Yeah.
And so we figured it out, and we literally had to take windows out of the press box. You know, they were little slider windows, and we took them out so we could get a phone out to get a signal, and that was crazy.
I actually, in the past, there were times where we had to call the game from a payphone. People probably don't even know what the heck I'm talking about when I say payphone. Or at least there are groups that don't.
Yep.
But at any rate, there were times where, you know, if the phone line went down or if equipment went bad or something like that, you might actually have to call the game that way just to get it to them.
Hey, I see some foosball players coming
People
in across the field.
Yep, they're starting
to come back in.
So it's only a matter of time. Did you pay any attention to when they started the half-hour clock?
Yeah, it's down to about 1:33 on the game clock, and they're going to reset it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to give them 5 minutes to warm up,
Sure.
and then we'll get back to action. But welcome to the story time with Joel.
I didn't even bring my book. You know, after that North Kansas City game,
you carried that book for 10 years.
In my car, I always had book of sports quotes, and there was two of them. One of them, my uncle, actually, my mom's brother, gave me as a birthday present one time.
Yeah.
Gave me the book, and so I'm like, well, what the heck? I'll just bring it here.
Oh man,
big book of sports quotes or whatever.
Oh. The best one are Lou Holtz, and if I could practice my Lou Holtz voice and do it without cracking up and trying to mimic him, I mean, he is a classic.
Oh, absolutely. Although I have to say that I have always felt that of all the sports there are, and different groups excel in different ways in terms of what they manage to say, you know, during interviews or, you know, certain situations. There are certain coaches that are notorious about the kind of interviews they give, and so on and so forth. Some former Royals coaches, in fact, were like that.
Let's see, what was it? McCray was one. Who was the Tony? Russo. Yeah, he was one that was that way.
And at any rate, so. And so there are different ways where they were, you know, either good at that or bad at that or whatever. But I have found over the years that I think hockey coaches might be the most irreverent of all of them in terms of what they manage to say. That I find them to be hilarious oftentimes. I remember, for example, you know, of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning have had some pretty good seasons recently. Winning Stanley Cups and all the other stuff. But there was a time period when hockey first came to Florida, and they were an expansion team. This was in the mid-'80s, where they were an awful hockey team.
Yes.
They and Ottawa came into the league at the same time in the mid to late 80s. And I remember, though, because the NHL was just flirting with putting hockey teams in Florida. And one of the reasons why they did it was that Florida had this reputation that there were all these Canadians living in Florida, that they had retired,
the snowbirds,
and moved to Florida. Not even just for the winter; they had gone there, but they definitely were there in the wintertime. And so they thought, well, this is perfect. We'll put, they missed their NHL hockey, and they would love to come to games. And Tampa Bay was just so god-awful that they were not drawing anybody to their game. Nobody would come out and watch them, and it was horrible. And so they were talking to the coach about it, and he said, when they sent me here, they said this is going to be great because Florida is full of ex-Canadians. He said, I know now why they left Canada. It's because they hate hockey. And
oh my!
He also had the great line of, well, we can't seem to win at home and we can't seem to win on the road. My problem as a coach is I can't figure out anywhere else for us to play.
Man, oh man.
Which I thought was a pretty good line.
I love that line. That's classic. What do you think? Should we tell? I think that's a great story. That's from Holly Carswell.
Yeah. I remember.
You were there. I mean, and I was not. I was traveling, and Bill Hartnett was with you, and I think Jeff was with you. And Jeff Driscoll, who's on the staff now, and down in Warrensburg. And this is, and Holly, we're going to paraphrase this, but it was 2004, Boston, Carswell, was 6 days old, and he's now the starting tackle for the Titans. The older brother, Cam, he was 2, and Holly and her mom drove to Warrensburg to watch the game, and I think it was Halloween or close to Halloween,
something like
late
that,
October.
Yeah.
And it was a typical fall where you just had the crazy weather. It had been warm.
And that was when I was still going down to Phoenix at that time.
You were.
And so I had just gotten back in town like that day. And
You
then
did, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the game was in Warrensburg, and Holly said that she was able to find a place where she could park the car up on the hill at the old high school where she could see the game. And they were there, and lo and behold, and any of the old Titans that are still around and watching the game, that was the night of the tornado where everybody went into the gymnasium. They put you down in the basement, and it was and Holly's right, it was the middle school basement, and it was 2 hours. And they had fans in one place. They had coaches and teams in another place. Cell phones didn't work worth a darn, the coaches were trying to track their wives and kids down, couldn't find them. But it all ended up being well, and they resumed the game. And, of course, the Titans got the win. But, see, these are the stories that I love and that you hear about being around a program as long as we have. And it's been a fun ride. And there's Mark Holt stories. I mean, with the parents and some of the stuff that they've done over the years, and it's just a great program to be a part of, and I'm just glad that we're able to be a part of it and bring you these broadcasts week in and week out.
If you only knew some of the things we know.
Well, I mean, let's talk about years gone by. Yeah, let's talk about the night that you guys did the playoff game from on top of the press box at the old stadium in Sedalia, and Kim Ball was there with you, and he was holding umbrellas over you guys because it was snowing to protect the equipment. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we went to, and I think that press box had already been condemned, but they invited you guys to stand on the roof.
Condemned. Yeah, we didn't get the special permit like we did last week.
Like exactly.
Which, in retrospect, I'm not so sure they should have given us. We survived it.
We did.
So, well, the teams are back on the field. It looks like we will be getting a second half of play in the very near future. We're going to take a break and come back with the second half coming up after this. We are finishing up a very long halftime. Lee Summit West 21-0 over Blue Springs South. This is Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
No matter what your goals are, competing at the next level, participating in a local 5K, or leading your team to state, the Sports Medicine Center at Children's Mercy is here to provide comprehensive 360-degree care for student athletes. Performance training, injury prevention, rehab services, nutrition, mental wellness, surgery, and more. It's not just about the next goal or the one after that. It's about supporting a lifetime of sport and helping every student athlete play healthy.
.810 Varsity takes you through the football season like never before. Watch games live throughout Kansas and Missouri, and even postseason action at 810varsity.com. Plus live tournament brackets, top 25, Elite 81 All-Metro team, live scoreboard, stories, and more. Check out Kansas City's new home for high school sports coverage. 810varsity.com.
We are back live here at Blue Springs South High School in Blue Springs, Missouri. Joel Becker and Mark Files. Lee Summit West and Blue Springs South. Titans on top of the Jaguars 21-0, and Lee Summit West set to receive the opening kickoff of the second half. First kickoff of the day for the Jaguars, and gotta like it when a big lineman kicks the ball off, and it goes to an up man about the 20-yard line to the 30, and a pretty hard hit there as he gets near the 35. Surratt with the run. good return up to the 30, roughly the 34-yard line. That's where the Titans will take over 1st and 10. Titans, really dominating offensively with 8 first downs to only 1 for the Jaguars that entire first half.
Yeah, it was a darn good first half for the Titans, that's for sure.
Did get a lot of momentum help with the block punt just before the end of halftime, or the end of the first half, I guess I should say. 21-0 the score. It would be nice, I'm sure, for the Titans if they could, march down the field and take any energy away from the Jaguars. The first run right up the middle goes nowhere for Surratt. Maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd down and long. Because the tough thing is, though, is, of course, both teams have been holed up for a half an hour twice now, and it's tough to get moving again after that.
It is. I mean, you're going to do everything in your power to stay loose.
But like I said, in a best-case scenario for the Titans, they would love to, make it a 4-score game early on. And Mayo's going to take the direct snap here. And he on the fake up the middle. Not much. Trying to push the pile forward. May be able to gain a couple. As Gavin Hernandez had a hard time opening the hole he was trying to open. And Jenkins came in, was able to get a hand on Mayo and stop that play from really developing. So we'll see what they do here on 3rd and 7.
So you got Mayo and Hines both on the field now with Surratt.
Yeah, Harden nowhere to be seen at the moment anyway. Looks like it's going to be Mayo from the shotgun. Hines is to his right, and then Surratt is further to his right. Actually, they're going to do in the middle Hines, and he gets the snap going left side, looking to get around the corner. He can't. Knocked for a loss back to the 35, and it'll be a 3-and-out to start the second half for the Titans.
Didn't have a lot of room to run out there, but I'll tell you what, when you get out there, your best bet is to plant that outside foot, that left foot, turn your shoulders north and south, and get upfield and get what you can.
Well, it may be a situation where the Titans, with a 21-0 lead, we're just figuring, you know what, we don't want to turn the ball over. We don't know how wet the field's going to be, how wet the ball's going to be. Let's just see what we can do. Maley standing back to receive this punt, puts up the hand for the fair catch and makes it. And then drops over as he makes the catch at the 37. And that's where we'll see this Jaguar offense for the first time in the second half. Like we said, only a single first down in the first 24 minutes of football here. I say 24 minutes. It took 3 hours, but
yes,
not quite, but still.
Congratulations and welcome home.
Tell you what, they just announced the Blue Springs South softball teams back in town. What a program that is. They have got some outstanding ball players on that club.
They start in the pistol formation here
1st and 10 for the Jaguars.
as Parker sends Thomas out to the right. Trips on the left, back to throw. Parker with plenty of time, throwing over the middle. He's got a man, but overthrows him into double coverage. But it wasn't really a catchable ball. Pretty good coverage, though, with help coming from the safety as Dooley got over there.
2nd down and 10.
And it'll set up a 2nd down.
And it would not be right if I didn't talk about Coach Doan and the softball team at Lee Summit West. They've got some new parts and pieces. They're working it out, and they're going to be salty this year as well. They're going to be real good competition in the conference.
Back to throw again, and the throw down the far sideline, and again overthrown incomplete. Is there a flag? Yes, there is. Boy, I don't know about that. There was a little hand fighting going on, but it sure didn't look like it was a one-sided thing.
Yeah.
It was, I believe, intended for Patrick on the far side, but they're going to call defensive pass interference. First penalty of the game on the Titans.
And it's a big one.
Yeah. It'll result in a 1st down. And, the Jaguars coming out here in the second half down by 3 scores seem to be interested in airing the ball out a little bit. At least for the first few plays. We'll see if they continue with it.
Well, you're down, 3 scores. You got to do something to get back in the game, right?
Right. So Parker, waiting for him to put the ball in play. They do. Seib goes in motion to the right side. He's an H-back there, and it is a give up the middle. And Theo Thomas, pretty good run. 11 yards across midfield into Titan territory. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Jaguars there.
Tackled by number 1, Ben Haley. Gain 11 yards. Good for Jaguars' first down across midfield. 1st and 10.
So first run of the second half, and that is pretty effective. Here's Thomas again, looking to get around left tackle, and he breaks the football to start things off here in this second half. Trailing 21-0. Into Titan territory on the 44. Now a man goes in motion to the left. Trips on the right. Back to throw Parker, looking right side. It's hit as he throws. It's down the field and almost intercepted.
Pass is incomplete.
He overthrew his intended receiver, and the only guy who had an opportunity to possibly track that down was the
3rd down and 7.
Titans.
Orion Bowers.
Yeah, corner on that side. So it'll set up a 3rd down and 7. Twins on the left, one man on the right from the pistol. They give it up the middle, and breaking a tackle, hit and tackle just shy of the 1st down is Reeves. Ryan Reeves, not a whole lot of carries in the game. He was listed as their starting tailback, but I'm guessing that's about his 4th carry of the game.
4th down and 3.
And it'll set up a 4th down. They're in 4-down territory. Although, again, with the quarterback as the punter, there's always the chance of a pooch. But I don't think so. Down 21-0. 4th and 3. Really a short 3. The ball is across the 40. They need to get to the 37. We'll see what they decide to do here with trips on the right, one man on the left, and one man in the backfield. And it is a fake throw, incomplete. Intended for Gish, or excuse me, perhaps that was
Riley Dowler.
Yeah.
I think so. It is number 80.
80, 88. They're about the same.
They are.
And so the Titans will take over on downs for the second time. Second time that they went to the air on a 4th down and short, which I find strange.
I do too, but you know what? You got to mix it up. You got to throw the ball, do a little more balance just so you keep those running lanes open.
Yeah, but do that on other plays, not on the 4th and short.
Yeah, not on the 4th and 4.
Because that one was a 4th and a short 3.
Yeah.
So Titans take over, 1st and 10. From their own 41, quarterback keeper up the middle. It's Mayo who took the direct snap, and he'll get across midfield into Jaguar territory to the Blue Springs South 49, a pickup of 11 on 1st and 10. Actually, did they mark him short? They marked him short. Boy, he...
Nope, they gave
No,
it
they
to
did.
him.
I was going to say, he clearly got across the line.
1st and 10 for the Titans.
So they did cross midfield. Just
think,
on the Jaguar side.
You think the coaching staff's decided to keep the ball on the ground and just run the clock?
Yes. I mean, I think that was part of their game plan anyway.
Right. But they're really going to emphasize that and take advantage of the Wildcat and go from there the rest of the night.
Looks like it. We haven't seen Harden really this half. And again on the delay, it's Mayo, and he was tripped up as he got near the 40. Just shy at about the 42. It'll set up a 2nd down and 2. There was a flag in holding area way back at the 48 of the Titans. So I imagine this one's going to come back. Holding the call against the defense.
Well, it looked like, I think it was a personal foul, Joel.
Was it a personal foul?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe they grabbed a face mask or something, or maybe just an illegal play away from the ball.
Yeah.
And so that should add 15 yards to the end of the run. And move the chains, and the Titans will get deep into Jaguar territory inside the 30 at about the 28-yard line or so. Looks like closer to the 27. It'll be 1st and 10 Titans from there. That, again, a big play that the Jaguars defense can't really afford to give up. Didn't really see what the play
I didn't
was.
see it either. I just saw a couple guys tangled back in the backfield. Again, it may be that next phase after getting into the face mask and just a little sparring.
Mayo again and the Wildcat to take the snap. He's got Coble behind him in a pistol, and they will give it to Brock, trying to wind his way forward. And again, there's a flag at the end of the play.
Number 23, Jackson Surratt, the ball carrier.
That was Surratt.
Was it Surratt and not Coble?
Was.
I don't think so.
Penalty flag on the field.
Coble. Well, Coble's over on the sideline.
Well, he ran over to the sideline after the play was over.
Maybe Surratt was the lead blocker.
Yeah, I know that's what the PA guy said, but I don't think that's what it was. So what's the call here? Officials discussing it.
Looks like we're going backwards here.
Yeah. I wonder if it's the retribution call, so to speak. A hold or something like that. They're marching off about 10 yards.
Holding is the penalty against the Titans.
Okay.
So they are calling it holding, and it'll set up a 1st down and 20.
After the penalty, it's 1st down and 20.
Clock running. Little more than 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Titans on top 21-0. 1st down and 20 though. Ball back to the 38-yard line. Mayo and looking for a hole. Gets her on the right side, being chased, and there's another flag as he does move the pile along the near sideline. Finally going out of bounds at the 28, but I think this one's coming back again.
Tackled by number 11, Jack Brickhouse. There's a penalty flag on the field.
Based on where the flag was, I imagine it was another hold. This one out on the perimeter, probably a receiver.
Sure. Holding the penalty against the Titans.
So it'll come back to the spot of the foul, which was right around the 35 or so. March off another 10 yards. And so it'll be 1st down and maybe 28 or so.
But we're definitely going the wrong direction.
Well, on the other hand, though, if you can keep it 1st down, we can run the entire rest of the game off. If you just take a penalty every play, run another.
From the 45-yard line.
At what point did they stop the clock when you take penalties like that? I don't know. Is it like with 5 minutes to go in the 4th or something?
I
don't really know.
I don't know either. Actually, they usually stop the clock so you can get the ball set, and then they put it back in play.
Right. So on 1st and a ton, again, another quarterback delay up the middle, and Mayo hit from behind, or excuse me, that was Hines that time. Hines with the carry picks up about 4.
Tackled by number 56.
So that leaves them a much more doable 24 yards on this 2nd down play.
2nd down and 24.
Well, that's a good test for your offensive line. You know, the defense knows what you're going to do. I mean, you haven't changed anything up. Now it's just man on man, get them moved out of there and create some running lanes.
So it looks like they're bringing Mayo back out to take the snap, and it is Surratt that is behind him in the pistol. Coble's out on the right side. The give to Surratt, right side. Goes over right tackle. There's a flag down.
Number 23, Jackson Surratt, the ball carrier.
And it is an illegal shift against the Titans. So this one is going to come back as well. It'll be 5 yards this time and set up a 2nd and 29. So I'm guessing they had 2 people still. They just didn't have people come set before they snapped it. had people in motion that never came set. So it should be 5 yards from the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's interesting having the back judge doing the signaling.
Yeah, I don't know why. I did notice that the white hat, the referee, when he was making not very emphatic. I was wondering if maybe he had an injured shoulder or something where it's hard for him to make the signal or something.
This may be something new to keep the guys on the field and save the legs of the white hat. I don't know.
Who knows? Well, I don't see how that's any different.
No.
So 2nd down and 29. And Hines will give it to Surratt, trying to make his way up the middle. Drags the pile forward for a pickup of 3. And it'll be 3rd down and about 26 or so. Clock running with 4:10 left to go. And now we get an official timeout.
Water break.
Since when do they take water breaks when the clock's running?
It is not running now.
Well, of course it's not running now. They stopped it, but normally they don't. When they do the water breaks, they pick a time in which, there's been an incomplete pass or a run out of bounds or a change of possession or whatever.
I think it went beyond.
Yeah, since we're
5 minutes,
right?
So they just went ahead and stopped it. They had to stop in the action and set it up. So
well, and of course they can always do this water break and then get the clock running again with the 40-second or 25-second clock.
Right.
So then it basically has the same effect if they'll just start running the clock again. But it's just they don't usually do it that way, interestingly. So 3rd down and 26, do you air one out here? I mean, they certainly wouldn't be expecting it the way you've been running.
Well, if you're going to air it out, I definitely would make sure I threw it with Mayo back there.
Yeah.
I mean, you bring in.
Oh, you bring your quarterback
in. They're going to know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to know something's up.
But Mayo's already thrown a near touchdown pass today.
Right.
He's actually got probably as many or more yards than Harden does, I think.
Yes. Well, he's got over. He had, I think it was 56 is what we gave him credit for on that pass.
Yeah, that was right. That's what it was. The pass wasn't 56 yards, but it was about 20 yards, and then he ran another 30 or so.
Yard after catch, the yak, the good kind of yak.
Speaking of lines, that was a line from Ron White. He said, "People learn things when I drink." He said, "Last night, the guy driving the cab learned that when I said I got a yak, it doesn't mean that I have a long-haired cow in the back with me." Gotta love Ron White.
That's right.
Mayo is in the back with an empty backfield. And he is going to throw. It's actually Hines who throws down the near sideline. And Dickerson was forced out of bounds, but the ball was nowhere near him. And so the Titans will have to punt. Interestingly, is there a flag? Yeah, I was going to say. Boy, if there is defensive pass interference, because if they call him for forcing him out of bounds.
Well, but they forced him out of bounds about 15 yards
I know,
where the ball landed.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, you're still, it still could conceivably be defensive pass interference or illegal contact or something like that. But in high school, I do not believe that constitutes an automatic first down. I think they would get to replay 3rd down, though.
It's an ineligible receiver downfield.
Yeah, so it's on the Titans. We'll see if the Jaguars elect to take it. You'd think they would decline it. But it doesn't look like they're gonna. I don't know why they would take this penalty. I think they're finally telling them, no, we're not going to take it. Because that would be stupid, because all you're doing is giving them a chance to.
Right.
I mean, and from a punting standpoint, if you punt it away here, getting an extra 5 yards can only help the punter.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So they are going to decline the penalty. Like I said, I don't know why the officials would even have entertained the idea that they might have wanted to take it.
Brings up 4th down.
So Sweeney goes back to kick this away.
Back deep for the Jags, number 82, Dante Maley.
If I were the Titans, I might take a delay of game call just for fun here to move them back 5 yards anyway.
Problem is the clock's not starting until
Yeah,
they kick it. So.
Yeah, it won't start because of that, because of the incomplete pass. Line drive kick from Sweeney. It bounces at the 13, inside the 10, inside the 5, and down at the 2, second straight week that Sweeney able to get a coffin corner punt inside the 10-yard line. This one was inside the 5.
Nice effort. I love it.
Should have taken the penalty.
Yeah. Well,
no, I'm just
but here's
kidding.
the thing. The young man that was back returning the punt, you don't let that ball get past you like that. I mean,
well, it was such a line drive punt, though, that I'm not sure he could have gotten to it.
Get your hand up, you wave the fair catch, and you catch it.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I don't know that he could have gotten to it. It was not kicked toward him.
First and 10 from Jaguars.
So they have their backs up against the wall, the Jaguars, on their own 2-yard line, maybe 2.5. And Parker's under center, split backs behind him. And on the give, it is a gain of a couple as Thomas with the ball carry was able to give him just a little bit of breathing room here.
It is so crazy seeing a traditional 4-3 front for the Titans.
Yeah.
And because, they're not running that spread offense. I mean, they're in a tight formation. The Jaguars are.
The officials have called an official timeout for some reason. I'm assuming it's some sort of equipment issue.
Yeah, we got a lineman. It looks like it's a bum ankle.
Yeah. It's Peniston, who is limping his way off the field. At first I thought his shoe had come undone or something like that, but I think he's just got like you said, an ankle issue or something. Well, I don't know if the Titans might be able to take advantage there on the left guard area. Maybe you double team or try and shoot somebody through there because Pennington's their starter trying to get penetration here. And back to throw Parker. He's going to air one out on the near sideline, and it is caught. Great catch. It was good coverage over on the play as Orion Bowers was step for step with him. But he made a great catch. And it'll be 1st and 10, longest play from scrimmage by far. As they go quickly from under center, Parker, handoff up the middle, Thomas, and fighting forward across the 45 to about the 47. Pickup of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Well, that was you're right. Bowers was there. Problem is, he let the receiver get inside position on him, and it was not able to make the defensive play to knock that ball down.
2nd down, split backs from under center. Parker fake, and then hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss. Once again, Theo Thomas, who was a little slow in getting up here. Hammond with penetration along with Grauberger and others. And I think Thomas is hurt. He did not come up and is still laying flat on his back. And they're going to bring the training staff out.
Don't want to speculate what it was, but I saw that helmet bounce pretty hard off that turf.
Well, like you said, it was a play that took too long to develop for the Jaguars, and the Titans just got way too much penetration. And they were practically standing next to Thomas as he was getting handed the football. They almost had as good a chance of reaching in and getting the handoff themselves. And like I said, it wasn't just one Titan. There were 3 of them back there, 3 or 4. So.
Got his hat off. He's
being attended to. But we had a really bad injury in the Free State game last night that took. They eventually brought the ambulance out, and they were not that we could use another delay here,
right?
But it was a similar situation. They were delayed for a good half hour or so.
Well, they got Thomas sitting up. That's half the battle right there.
Yeah. And that's actually not Thomas.
Not 21, huh?
No, it is. No, it is him who's down. Thought for a second it was somebody else, but
I tell you what, when you're a running back like that and you run hard in the style that he runs, when you get caught up with 3-4 defenders on you, you get in I'm going to call it a wanky position. You're just kind of, you're not able to control yourself. And when you go to the turf, I mean, you go down in funny positions.
At least it wasn't full of mud and water.
That's true. Sometimes mud and water makes it a little softer.
Well, that is one thing about the in the old days when it wasn't field turf and it was a rainy day, is the ground would become awfully spongy at that point.
Oh, then you ought to see those fields, 2 days later, it look like cattle lots.
Oh, yeah. He is being attended to, sort of half sitting up.
Yep.
I'm actually kind of surprised that we don't see this sort of thing more often with, the helmets, like you said, when they bounce off of the field turf, you can get your cage rattled pretty easily.
And they don't jack around with the concussion protocol.
No, not at all.
I mean, they put you in it immediately.
Yeah.
And it's all about the safety for the kids.
They're lifting him up, and he's on his feet. Gets a hand.
Yep.
But he's being helped off. It may not be a head injury. The way they're holding his wrist, it's either his wrist or his shoulder, I think, is a much more likely scenario. He, his jersey came off of his shoulder, and I don't know if that is any indication of anything. It sets up a 3rd down and long, 3rd and 8 for the Jaguars. And, of course, now they don't have Thomas either, as it looks like they're going to go a little wildcat themselves as they throw it on the near side, and a good defensive play by Grauberger to break that up. As that's actually their backup quarterback, Trey Patrick. So I don't know if he came in just for that play as a wildcat, because Parker's coming back in now on 4th and 8. Or if there was a reason why they wanted to keep Parker out for a play for some reason.
Well, in this time of the stage, you want to get, you're a young program building confidence and building players. You got to put everybody in, give them an opportunity here.
Twins on either side. As I mentioned, Cash Parker back in at quarterback. He has a running back behind him in the pistol formation. And back to throw, looking left side, throwing over the middle. It is incomplete, in and out of the hands of the receiver, who really had a good opportunity to catch that one. It was Seib, who has been a favorite target of Parker, but really hasn't, with one exception, hasn't really been able to come up with much.
No.
And so I think that's the 3rd time in the game the Jaguars have turned it over on downs.
It is.
And the Titans will take over. 2:02 left to go in the 3rd quarter. They lead it 21-0. Long game from here in Blue Springs, with a couple of rain delays, or lightning delays, I guess would be more accurate. The Titans.
Yeah, it's about surviving and moving on right now. Keeping kids healthy, keeping that clock running.
We haven't seen Harden much this second half. Mayo is in to take the snap from a Wildcat, and he'll go on the quarterback keeper. Delayed quarterback draw, comes up the near sideline and gets inside to about the 30-yard line. A pickup of, let's call it 12. And it'll be 1st and 10 Titans. A good run that time by David Mayo.
Very nice run.
Who does have a pair of touchdowns today. They were both 3-yard runs.
1st down and 10 from the 30-yard line.
How would you describe his style? Is it more of a lightning style, where he's kind of bouncing, like to do those quick cuts, light on his feet?
Physically, he actually reminds me a lot of Larry Johnson.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But Larry didn't run that way, though.
Not
he was
really.
A little more aggressive.
Yeah. Mayo with the snap. He'll give it to Surratt, trying to find room on the right side. Does. He's able to stiff arm one man, gets forced out of bounds as he gets to the 23.
Yeah, you call Surratt Thunder and Mayo Lightning because Thunder Mayo likes to bounce and take those quick cuts. Almost like a Le'Veon Bell kind of running style downfield, maybe.
Hopefully the Pittsburgh Steeler version.
Yes, very much so.
Second down, about 3. Clock stopped with 1:20 to go. The only problem with those two plays, they both went out of bounds.
Yeah.
Stop the clock. And Coble with the fake to him. Mayo trying to go right side. Cuts inside one tackler. Gets knocked down. Got to the 21. Good tackle by Meyer on the play. It'll set up a third down and short. This time he does stay in bounds, though. So we're down to 1 minute and counting in this third quarter. There'll be about a half a minute to go by the time they do the 3rd and 1 snap, assuming they milk the clock as long as they can. Empty backfield this time, and I think the officials are going to call timeout. What's the deal here?
Official timeout.
Equipment issue or what? They're sending the tight end Ford off. Must have not liked maybe a mouthpiece or something.
Oh, he was messing with his knee pads.
Yeah, it's definitely some equipment issue.
Yeah, the knee pads have to be down over the knee. His had moved up above his knee, and they called him to get him off the field.
So
equipment issue.
He fixes it, gets back in as they line up for this 3rd and 1. Mayo from the shotgun. Man in motion is Coble. They'll toss it to Brock. He'll try and get around the end, and he stretches forward and gets a first down. Good play, Brock Coble. It looked like he definitely got grabbed before he got across the line of scrimmage, but he was able to force his body forward and gain the yard that he needed to gain. Set up a 1st and 10.
He was doing an awful lot of looking for that hole instead of just getting upfield and taking it.
That's going to do it for the third quarter of play. They'll let the clock run down. And we will go to the fourth quarter with the Titans on top, 21-0. No scoring in the third quarter. And Lee Summit West, with 12 minutes of football left to go, leading at 21-0. We'll take a break, come back for the fourth quarter after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
Don't trust the biggest investment of your life to a part-time real estate agent. Trust the #1 real estate team in Kansas and Missouri, the Rob Ellerman team at Reese Nichols. With over 90 agents and 5 offices across the metro, they'll match you up with the perfect agent to get you moving with confidence. They cover the entire metro area, from Lee Summit to the Northland to Johnson County. They also have offices in Des Moines and Springfield, Missouri, and Destin, Florida, if you know of someone looking to move. The Rob Ellerman team truly is your real estate resource. Call anytime at 816-304-4434 or visit therobellermanteam.com. The Rob Ellerman team, a proud supporter of Kansas City Metro High School athletics.
Ready to get started with the fourth quarter of play here in Blue Springs South High School. Joel Becker, Mark Files, Lee Summit West. On top of Blue Springs South, it's Titans 21, Jaguars nothing. Titans driving here with the ball 1st and 10, just inside the red zone at the 19-yard line. They have been pretty much exclusively running the football in the second half. There was no scoring. They went into the halftime at 21-0. David Mayo from a Wildcat. Man in motion. They fake it to Coble, and Mayo runs off a right tackle. Not much there. And boy, they allowed them to play a pretty good time after the whistle blew. You got to be careful in situations like that where you don't want to see, players start getting upset.
Well,
and
I think we're beyond that point. Right now, it's just, everybody's got to keep their cool head so nobody does get hurt.
Well, that's what I mean. Is that, hopefully that will be the way it stays. Worst thing you could do in this situation is do something, that causes an unsportsmanlike conduct, and then you end up having to take another game off or something to that effect. On the fake, it is Hines, left side. It gets across left tackle down inside the 15. down to about the 13, maybe inside the 13. It'll be third down, about 4 from there.
That was a nice cut, nice run, getting upfield.
Jaden Hines. They have been running back by committee today with Hines, Mayo, Surratt, and occasionally Brock Coble.
And they're doing one major thing, and that's keeping the clock running and gaining yards, positive yards.
Hines from the pistol, and he fakes it to Surratt, trying to get around the right side with speed. He's got running room inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown, Titans. Jaden Hines from 13 yards out.
Touchdown run by number 6, Jaden Hines.
And with 10:27 to go in regulation time, the Titans stretch it out to a 27-0 lead with the extra point to come.
Nice job by Hines to
That's
recognize
speed right there.
Yeah, and recognizing the broken coverage. Once he beat the outside linebacker, there was nothing but him and white jerseys between there and the 13-yard line and the goal line.
Yeah. It's one of those read option plays as we talked about before. Again, like you said, you watch that defensive end.
Yep.
And the problem for the defensive end was not that he wasn't, he had penetration, he just was too big and not able to catch up to Hines. Hannah's extra point is up and good. 10.5 minutes left to go in regulation time. The Titans on top, 28-0 our score. We'll take a break, come back with the kickoff coming up after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Ackport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
High school sports fans, check this out. 810varsity.com now brings live video game casts for more than 25 KC Metro schools all season long. Now you can watch and listen to the games live on your computer, iPad, or phone. Park Hill South, Miege, Aquinas, the Olathe and Blue Valley schools, and the list goes on and on. Plus, live scores, playoff brackets, rankings, and more. Get all the games live at 810varsity.com.
Back live here at Blue Springs South High School. Joel Becker and Mark Files as the Titans on top of the Jaguars. 28-0 our score here with 10:27 left to go in regulation time. Will Peacock with the ball teed up at the 40-yard line, middle of the field, after a 13-yard touchdown run by Jaden Hines. And the kick is going to be fielded at the 1-yard line. Up across on the left side to the 15 and caught at the 20 and pulled down as Maley with his return.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, I'm
a late whistle there, my friend.
I'm concerned. Well, I think that the officials are seeing what I'm seeing and we're concerned about as we get an injured player. It looks like on the far side, and they don't want to see things get out of hand in this game.
Right.
So we're going to have yet another delay with an injured Jaguar over on the far side. I don't know if it was the ball carrier or somebody else. Couldn't tell. He is surrounded by attendees at this point. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 21 for the Jaguars when we do get back to action. 10:17 to go in regulation time.
You tend to have these kinds of injuries when you have a
long delay,
and you also have a strong gang tackling philosophy on your defense. Okay, you get 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in on a tackle, and they're all there, and you're 1 on 6, 1 on 7. You get yourself out of shape, and you're not able to protect yourself. So when you go down, that's where you get the twisted knees. You get the head bouncing off the turf. There's a lot of different things that happen. And the same thing with the blockers. I mean, they get caught up in the action, and they can't protect themselves either.
Well, and sometimes the most dangerous thing is not even the guys going into tackle. It's the things that you don't expect.
Oh,
it's where it comes from out of left field, where there's so many players in the area, you don't even realize that somebody's about to fall on you from the left side or from the right side.
Yeah. And that's the ball carrier, right? 82?
Yes, it was. And he is walking under his own power, limping just a little bit. But that's good to see that they're not having to help him off the field. Making the long walk across.
Tell you what, that young man's done a nice job today on his returns, and he's taken some shots. And he's given some too, though.
Yeah, he had one muff right after the first delay where the Titans went 3 and out and punted, and it was a wet situation. It was still raining. But aside from that one play, he's been pretty solid since then.
Joel, you're seeing the effects of playing a Class 6 schedule. I mean, because you know darn good and well, Lee Summit North brought the wood, and they were doing a lot of serious hitting against this South team, and South hasn't backed down.
Back to throw. Oh, big hit over the middle, incomplete. It was intended for Watson.
There's a penalty flag on the field.
There is a penalty flag down. It's back in holding territory.
Holding the penalty against the Jaguars.
Against Blue Springs South. Boy, what a stick, though.
Is that Graubarger who got him, number 15?
It could have been. I couldn't tell, honestly. Certainly wouldn't have been surprised if it were. Kind of right up his alley, but it might have also been Brian Haney. I couldn't tell. Titans will take the penalty and push them back to their own 10. It'll be first and about 22 from there.
Down to 23 for the Jaguars.
Parker looking for the play from the sideline. Has an empty backfield. Trips on the right. One man on the left. There's a tight end to his left side as well. On the first down play, the Titans show blitz. He throws. It is hit, caught, hit and tackled up near the 10. No gain on the play. Dowler, the receiver.
Pass complete to number 80, Riley Dowler.
Dowler. D-O-W-L-E-R.
Trey Sweeney.
Not much gain on the play. It'll be second down. They gave him up to the 10. Second, they're calling it 21. Clock under 9.5 minutes left to go. See if they come after Parker again. Man in motion. Boy, that did not look legal. Throw down the far sideline, incomplete, overthrown. There was a bit of contact there at the very end of the play, but I don't think that was a catchable ball.
Pass is incomplete, intended for number 2, Alex Israelite.
Is he the intended target?
Third down and 21.
Good little hand play over there by Chance McGrew. He was just doing his part to keep the receiver occupied.
So it'll set up a third and a ton. Now, there's a part of me that would like to see him complete the pass, keep the clock running for something less than 21 yards. Maybe something short over the middle. Again, we'll see if they go after the quarterback. 3 down linemen and 1 showing blitz coming up the middle, and it is incomplete.
Oh my.
Another big hit on the play. Grauberger that time. It was Reeves who was the intended target, and he is slow getting up as well. I mean, he got up, but he is clearly smarting from that hit. That's one thing, again, about, we talked about the speed and whatnot of the linebacking crew and the corners for the Titans is when you know they're going to be passing like this, you can just kind of hold back there and just see where the ball's going and then just step up.
And that's going to be a coaching point for Parker, the quarterback, next week. Is, hey, you got to get that ball there quicker. You got to keep the ball down because it saves your receiver's life.
Parker standing in his own end zone. It's a good snap. And the kick. And it is taken Haney at the 40 and slides down. I don't think he meant to do that.
Nope.
But gets inside the 40 to about the 37. That's where Lee Summit West will take over. First and 10.
31-yard punt, 4-yard return.
They may be doing their water break at this point, looks like. Maybe not. Titans just huddling up over near the bench. I thought they were going to do that, but they aren't yet. It's not quite time. It's 8:51 to go.
196 yards on offense for the Titans to this point.
Jaguars 37-yard line.
So we'll see. Looks like Hines is going to come out again, at least to start this Wildcat offense. We've seen mostly Wildcat the second half. The Titans came out 21-0 to start the second half. They've added a touchdown in their last drive, and they lead it 28-0. Hines with an empty backfield. He's got 4 receivers on the right side. We'll see if he follows them that direction. Actually, he goes back to throw. Throws over the middle to the left side. He's got a man. Did he come down with it? I couldn't tell.
Nope.
Incomplete. It was intended for Miller on the near sideline, and he had it in both hands but couldn't manage to come down.
Yeah, he lost it on the way down.
Not a bad throw from Hines either.
Not a bad one at all.
And again, you kind of like to see them do that just from the perspective of keeping the defense a little more honest.
Got to get it on tape. Got to get it on film so that the defensive coordinators of your next couple weeks, the opponents, are going to be pulling their hair out on that when they're looking at what in the world are the Titans doing.
Mayo comes into the game, but it's still Hines, and now the play clock was down to 0, so the Titans are going to have to call timeout. Don't want to give up the 5 yards.
East on the West, their first charge timeout of the second half.
You know what? The coaches may have a different take on this, but
Spring South Football Booster Club would like to thank
I
the
really
following
like
2021 game
the maturity of the Titans on offense and defense, of coming out and having that business trip attitude and just taking care of business and going out and running the offense and keeping that clock going. I guarantee you, Coach Edwards was not planning on running a Wildcat all in the second half.
No.
When they put the game plan together.
Yeah. But they have responded well.
Talk about game planning. Scott Frost with Nebraska. You heard the comment he made against the Illinois game?
No.
They had said that they had to throw out half of their game plan because they only prepared for an odd man front.
Hines is out there for the Wildcat, has Surratt behind him in the pistol. Twins on either side. Man in motion. And that was Mayo. The give is to Surratt. Up the middle, he had a pretty big hole, and he's going to get a first down across the 30 near the 25. It'll move the chains 1st and 10. If the Titans can get a touchdown and an extra point, they'll get the clock moving here.
The turbo clock.
Finish things off. Now, we're seeing things run down anyway as we are down nearing 8 minutes left to go in regulation time. Titans on top 21-0. Driving again with the ball inside the 30 at about the 26, 25-yard line. Hines, man in motion is Mayo. And it is Hines on the option, trying to get around. Tried to get a block from Mayo, but ended up waiting a little too long. He was able to get 4 yards out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
And from our view up here, it looked like he had that corner. He could have got to the sideline.
Yeah, if there is one thing that I would say has been a potential negative for Hines as a running back, is that he has sometimes a hard time making up his mind.
Right.
As to where he ought to go or whatever, or recognizing where the holes are, that kind of thing. Which comes with experience.
Experience on Friday nights, under the lights, that's for sure. I mean, his reference point is going to be playing JV ball last year.
Right.
And there's things you can do on Monday nights you cannot do on Friday nights.
And it is Surratt up the middle. He finds a hole. And I tell you what, he did a good job in the last couple of plays he's had. Just a couple of little cuts, not huge cutbacks or anything like that, but in those situations he looked, hit the hole in a hurry, but also recognized where it was and what, was going to get him the most yards.
Oh, yeah, and that's what, we talk about that north-south running. That's exactly what he was able to do and did a fine job of getting upfield.
Another first down run, so the Titans in the red zone. Ball at about the 12-13 or so. Titans in no hurry. This is Mayo taking the snap with Surratt behind him. And it is David Mayo who gives it to Surratt. And he again cuts to the left up the middle. He ends up going, he's gone off left tackle the last 3 plays that he's had an opportunity to do it. And there have been holes there for him on that left side of the Titans offensive line.
I think the offensive line has finally worn out the Jaguars.
It sure seems like it. Last couple of drives. It'll be second down and short, maybe about 3 or so. The ball is inside the 10 near the 5. Clock continues to run. 6 minutes or so. Half a quarter to go. Again, Mayo from the Wildcat with Surratt behind him in the pistol. And it is a give. Surratt, this time there is nowhere to cut. Has pretty good penetration that time by the Jaguars. No gain on the play. It'll be third down and about 3.
How far back do you think we're going to have to go back to look at stats to see this much running in a ball game without a pass for the Titans?
It's been a while.
It's going back before 2010, huh?
Probably.
2008, 2009?
What class, maybe?
Well,
5, 4.
That'd be 4 going into 5.
Yeah.
You know, the
some of those second halves
yeah,
where we
Luke Knott, that bunch with when Evan was on those teams, they were still running a lot and then throwing second.
Third down and 3. Mayo with the toss. Surratt left side inside the 5. Touchdown. Touchdown Titans. Well, that saves me having asked the question, would you go for it on 4th down or kick a field goal?
I would go for it.
I would have gone for it too.
5-yard touchdown run by number 23.
5 yards out. Jackson Surratt gets into the end zone for the first time for number 23. He joins Mayo and Hines. 4 running touchdowns for the Titans, and then a blocked punt recovered in the end zone as well.
By Mr. Williams.
Hanna to make it a 35-point lead. Snap back, ball down, kick up, high, long, and it is good. 5:01 left to go in regulation time. Clock will run when we come back. The Titans have a 35-0 lead over Blue Spring South. This is Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
No matter what your goals are, competing at the next level, participating in a local 5K, or leading your team to state, the Sports Medicine Center at Children's Mercy is here to provide comprehensive 360-degree care for student athletes. Performance training, injury prevention, rehab services, nutrition, mental wellness, surgery, and more. It's not just about the next goal or the one after that. It's about supporting a lifetime of sport and helping every student athlete play healthy.
Welcome back out here to Blue Springs South High School. Joel Becker along with Mark Files. Lee Summit West with a 35-0 lead over Blue Springs South.
It was good to see Surratt get rewarded for a touchdown after putting all the hard work in to get him down close to the goal line.
Absolutely. Kickoff. Peacock will send it, and will come down about the 5-yard line. Taking it is Thomas. He's got a pretty good hole and gets across the 35 to about the 40-yard line. There is a man down, way down in the middle of the field, away from the play,
Number 28, Ethan Huffman with the stop.
holding his knee. It looks to me like it is Cooper Carpenter, who is the injured player for the Jaguars. This is one of the few times that at this point they will stop the clock.
Yes.
for an injury. Penalties, injuries, touchdowns, scores, I should say.
Spit
and
is
timeouts.
what the acronym is, right?
Yeah, well, pits, spit, tips. But yeah, so it's penalties, injuries, timeouts, and scores.
The great Bob Hoffman always made sure that we knew that in the press box. Remember him?
Yes.
The first guru of the clock operators at Lee Summit West. He loved that loud music too, didn't he?
And the choice of music to go along with it. I'm not sure he would have termed it music, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
So now that the injury is done, they do get the clock going. And Parker will give and bouncing it to the outside. Reeves, and he is swarmed under and taken down. He'll pick up about 2, maybe 3 on the play. It'll be second down.
Tackle by number 4, Reuben Miller.
You know, the nice thing about getting to that 35 points is you don't have to worry about keeping them in bounds at this point.
That's right.
Let them run right out or throw an incomplete pass, doesn't matter. Clock runs, second down, let's call it 8.
Quick shout out to Coach Parks, who's still on a rehab assignment. And I hope you're doing well, my friend, and enjoying tonight's victory.
Split backs and another give up the middle. And this time it is Stokes. Or is that, he said it was Lucas.
Tackled by number 91.
So I'll go with what he said. Yeah, it was Lucas.
4 yards, third down and 4.
And it'll be third down. 3.5 minutes left to go in regulation time. Well, remember going into Class 6 for the Titans? Could you imagine telling them then that they would have a running clock against a Blue Springs team? Oh. Nice pass.
And an even better catch.
Yeah, for Seib. Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Seib on the catch.
Nice concentration on that catch.
But yeah, anyway, when we first got up, or even back when we were Class 5 and we were playing Blue Springs when they were Class 6 in those days, and they were just, you know, whether it's Blue Springs or Blue Springs South, we had our work cut out for us, certainly.
I just remember Tom Cruise telling me, when you go to Class 6, you don't know what you don't know. I mean, it just, he goes, it's just insane what they, what you end up running into.
Good run by Robin Lucas there.
Very much so.
First and 10 from the 30-yard line.
We get whistles. Official timeout.
Timeout on the field.
Another equipment issue.
Got his shoe back on. Heel came out of the shoe.
It's Jonathan Kirkpatrick in the interior line backer position. Parker and a give, and this time it's Reeves. He got caught from behind, tackled as he gets to the 20-yard line.
Tackled by number 35, Jonathan Kirkpatrick.
We're down about 2 minutes left to go. Obviously, the Titans would like to keep them away from the end zone as much as they can.
But I like having the 2s out there getting some playing time in 3s.
Parker from the pistol. Takes the snap back to throw. Throwing over the middle. It is intended for Seib. Incomplete, but there is a flag down. Boy, I didn't see a whole lot of contact there.
No, I think that was an anticipated defenseless receiver.
Yeah, and he didn't actually hit him.
No, not at all.
That's a flag they really should pick up, but I don't think they will. There may be a flag in the backfield as well.
Roughing the passer and pass interference. Oh.
We got double.
We got the double whammy.
So in that such a scenario, you take the roughing the passer call.
Pass interference and roughing.
Should go half the distance to the goal and set up a first down and 1. First down and about maybe 2. So again, they'll move them back half the distance to the 10-yard line. And it'll be first down technically from there. First down in about a yard or half a yard. Clock stopped at the moment with 1:36 left to go. And when they put it in play, they should start the clock again after the penalty. And they decided that was a first down, I guess.
Yeah, the roughing the passer comes with an automatic first down.
So it's first and goal. That actually doesn't help the Jaguars. They would have been better off if it wasn't. And it is a give. Reeves up the middle, pushing the pile forward, gets to about the 5. And it'll be second down. Clock running, though, with 1:20 left to go. Can they keep them out of the end zone? We'll have to wait and see here. Parker directing traffic. Sends his receivers out to the left. Seip is out to the right side. On second down, he's rolling to the left. There's a throw in the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown.
You got a flag down.
I was going to say, I thought I saw a hold in the backfield. Let's wait for the call, though. I still think, by the way, as far as the white hat is concerned, I think he's got a shoulder issue or something that is keeping him from making it. It is a legal procedure. Must be an illegal formation against the Jaguars, so that's going to take the points off the board. And with 50 seconds left to go, will cost them 5 yards. And it'll be second and goal from just outside the 10. So I could have sworn I thought I saw some holding going on there, too.
Oh, yeah.
They just didn't call it, I guess.
They picked their poison.
So second down from just outside the 10-yard line. Parker gets his play from the sideline. He's in the pistol formation with twins on either side. Titans show defense, but the Jaguars moved, yeah. So there's going to be a false start, I believe, here on Blue Spring South. That should cost them another 5 yards and push them back to the 15 or so. It'll be second down and goal remaining. Clock down to 31 seconds.
Penalty against Blue Spring South.
So they haven't put the ball in play. When they do, the clock will start running again. So 30 seconds. Again, twins on either side. Pistol formation. Titans show blitz. Here they come. 4 down linemen. They throw on the right side looking for Seip. Incomplete. And that may do it. It's remember, with the incomplete pass and the 35-point lead, the clock is down to 10 seconds and counting. Seip ran all the way back, so if they don't replace him, yeah, it's 2-1. That's going to do it. The clock runs out before they can snap the ball again. And the Lee Summit West Titans have defeated the Blue Spring South Jaguars 35-0, the final score here in tonight's game.
Nice effort by the Titans tonight. And when we come back after the break, we'll have a discussion about how good was this performance, and with it being with multiple interruptions, where does it really set this team, and what are we looking at this year?
All right, we'll have that discussion when we come back. Final score again, 35-0. Titans over the Jaguars. Post-game after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
Don't trust the biggest investment of your life to a part-time real estate agent. Trust the #1 real estate team in Kansas and Missouri, the Rob Ellerman team at Reese Nichols. With over 90 agents and 5 offices across the metro, they'll match you up with the perfect agent to get you moving with confidence. They cover the entire metro area, from Lee Summit to the Northland to Johnson County. They also have offices in Des Moines and Springfield, Missouri, and Destin, Florida, if you know of someone looking to move. The Rob Ellerman team truly is your real estate resource. Call anytime at 816-304-4434 or visit therobellermanteam.com. The Rob Ellerman team, a proud supporter of Kansas City Metro High School athletics.
No matter what your goals are, competing at the next level, participating in a local 5K, or leading your team to state, The Sports Medicine Center at Children's Mercy is here to provide comprehensive 360-degree care for student-athletes. Performance training, injury prevention, rehab services, nutrition, mental wellness, surgery, and more. It's not just about the next goal or the one after that. It's about supporting a lifetime of sport and helping every student-athlete play healthy.
A10 Varsity takes you through the football season like never before. Watch games live throughout Kansas and Missouri, and even postseason action at 810varsity.com. Plus live tournament brackets, top 25, Elite 81 All-Metro team, live scoreboard, stories, and more. Check out Kansas City's new home for high school sports coverage. 810varsity.com.
Welcome back out to Blue Springs South High School. Joel Becker along with Mark Files as the Titans take it to the Jaguars. 35-0 the final score here tonight, including a couple of long rain delays, or lightning delays, I guess would be the better way to put it. Mark has some post-game numbers for you.
That I do. The Titans were able to rack up 233 yards in total offense, 89 yards through the air, 144 yards on the ground. Talking about the individual stats for the ball carriers, we had Jackson Surratt leading the way with 73 yards on 18 carries. Jaden Hines had 42 yards on 8 carries, and then you had David Mayo, who came in behind them with 42 yards on 8 carries as well. Your receivers, Trevor Ford had the one big catch for 56 yards. Drew Dickerson had a catch for 20 yards, and Brock Coble had 2 catches for 13 yards. The Titans managed to have, let's see here, where are they? They had 5 penalties for 55 yards. Most of those came late. Looking for first downs. They had 16 first downs, 10 on by rushing and 4 through the pass, and they picked up 2 first downs on penalties. For the hometown Jaguars, they had 149 yards in total offense, 58 yards passing, 91 on the ground. They had 9 penalties for 70 yards, and then they had the 1 turnover. We look at the time of possession again, relatively even, believe it or not. The Titans had the ball for 24 minutes and 12 seconds. The Jaguars had the ball for 23 minutes and 1 second. And for the individual stats, Cash Parker was 5 of 18 for 58 yards. Theodis Thomas had 45 yards on 18 carries. And those are the leaders for Blue Springs South.
So what did you think in terms of, you were asking the question before we went to the post game, is what kind of performance was that? Obviously a 35-0 win.
It's a big win. It's a mature business trip victory is what it is, okay? There's a lot of work to be done on the offensive side of the ball. I think the offensive line played well. But you got to improve the passing game, because there's going to be times where you need to get a catch downfield.
Well,
now,
at this point, you're going to start seeing teams put 9 guys in the box against this.
Exactly, and that's where I was going to go with it. You know, Harden's got that long, lanky throwing motion, okay? And it starts from where he has the ball right there in his chest, and he winds up to throw that ball. And so it's important for him to make sure that he makes his decision early so he can get that ball out of his hand and get it into the receiver's hand so they can at least or get it in the area of the receiver so they can at least make a play. So, you know, you've got him and you got Heil both that have got to work on getting rid of that ball a little bit quicker. And, so, they've got a lot of work to do on offense. Yes, it's a mature victory. Yes, it's a 35-0 shutout. The defense, I think, is lights out right now. I mean, they're making things happen and creating short fields, which makes that offense successful.
I was going to say, they've scored 9 touchdowns in 2 games. What more do you want?
Hey. Titan football, we win, my friend.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's what it is.
All right, some scores for you from tonight. Baser Linwood 27-6 over Tonganoxie. They're still calling it a delay. Belton and Ruskin. Belton on top 16-0. Final, Blue Valley North over Bishop Miege 51-24. Bishop Ward 28-6 over Sumner. These are all finals. Blair Oaks and Knob Noster 62-16. Blair Oaks. Blue Valley Northwest wins the Battle of Blue Valley over Blue Valley High 35-21. Blue Valley West 45-21 over Blue Valley Southwest. Boonville 13-6 over Holden.
Mighty Pirates.
Royce will be happy.
There you go.
Center 35-6 over Capital City. DeSoto 62-8 over Turner. Pembroke Hill 41-0 over East. Boy, this is an interesting final. Trenton 7-4 over East Buchanan.
That's a typo. That's 42 by East Buchanan.
Okay, I was going to say, that would seem weird. Summit Christian 49-0, it looks like, over Fort Scott.
Yes.
Grain Valley 35-14 over Oak Park. This has also got to be a typo. Park Hill South and Granville is not 4-0, was it?
It was 40-0, yes.
Okay. And Platte County 35-3 over Kearney, according to this.
That's correct.
Okay. Chillicothe 34-14 over Kirksville. Let's see. Lee Summit North taking on the Titans' next week opponent, Lee Summit High. The score I've got is 29-0 in the third quarter.
I've got 29-0 for the start of the fourth quarter. So.
Okay, so yeah, mine was with about a minute to go, so close enough. And Liberty North 44-13 over Liberty. That's a final. Cameron 7-6 over Lincoln College Prep. Let's see, Spring Hill 31-0 over Lewisburg. Harrisonville and Maryville 28-20. Harrisonville in that one. North Platte lose to Maysville 28-8. Mill Valley ends up beating Gardner Edgerton 35. What did Gardner Edgerton have? I can't
14.
read it.
Okay. 35-14.
It says 35-1 on my phone, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't it. North Kansas City ends up beating St. Joe Central 38-0. Looks like Oak Grove beats Richmond 6-0. Odessa.
Actually, it's updated. The stat was Richmond 52, Oak Grove 6.
There were the little dots on mine.
Yes.
35-0 Odessa over Lansing. Olathe North beats Shawnee Mission South 56-0. Olathe Northwest over Olathe West 28-21. Paola over Bonner Springs 41-21. Overtime, Rockhurst and Park Hill. Park Hill 24, Rockhurst 23.
That's a big win for Coach Sims in his first year at Park Hill.
Yeah, it helps us too.
Very much so.
Team that we've beaten now beats Rock Hill. Or Rockhurst, excuse me. Does that mean that Rockhurst is not so good?
Hey, you've got Rockhurst and their tradition, and you have Coach Donahoe leading that program. He'll get it turned around.
Ray-Pec and Blue Springs. What I have is a fourth quarter score, 14-13, Ray-Pec.
That's what I have as well.
Okay. Piper beats Ottawa 56-7. Raytown South 48-6. That's, according to this, still going, but not much of a game. Shawnee Mission East over Shawnee Mission North 28-7. Olathe South beats Shawnee Mission West 7-6. A final there. What's this South Harrison West Platte score? Because it shows
44-6. West Platte over South Harrison.
It says 6-4 on mine, and I didn't think that was probably right. So there you go, some scores for you.
Fort Osage upset Staley 36-21.
Okay.
Winnetonka over Truman 45-7. And Excelsior Springs loses to Warrensburg 33-26. Warrensburg has a ball club, and you got Smithville who put 56 on William Crispin, 56-0.
My phone just gave me a different display than it did before. And I can actually see all of the scores now.
You blew it up. You got the screen display. You went bigger.
Yeah.
Surefire sign you're getting older.
I can actually see it now.
See it and read it.
But I didn't, it just did it on its own. 36-21, eh? Fort Owen Staley.
Yes.
How about that? All right, so I mentioned that next week it is the first of the Battle of Lee Summit, with Lee Summit High coming to Lee Summit West. And, based on the first couple of weeks, that could conceivably be a trap game for the Titans. It would be easy for them to look past the Tigers, wouldn't it?
It would, but, we don't, at Lee Summit West, we don't worry about city championships. I mean, that's the mantra. But it is a Lee Summit West ball game, and you better come prepared to play, because Coach Thomas and Coach Oswald will have the kids ready to play on offense and defense.
That's what I'm going to say, is that they'll be there to play.
Yes.
And it's important the Titans, don't just assume by showing up they win.
Yes, and I'll be honest with you, the maturity we've seen out of the defense and the maturity we've seen out of the offensive line, I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. I think these kids are pretty well focused.
Thoughts on the player of the game?
Oh, my. I'm going to have to say somebody off of the defensive side of the ball for sure. I mean, it was.
Well, the problem is that, I mean, it's tough because, the defense certainly played well, but there weren't a whole lot of players that specifically stood out. I mean, I thought Grant Swan played a really good game overall.
Yes, it was such a team effort.
But
it was just they just came in and did their business. You talk about Ben Eli on some big hits. You got Graubarger, who was some big hits that separated some receivers from the ball.
Bowers and Haney played really well.
Bowers and Haney
in the
played
corners.
Well. It was just a good all-around team effort.
But it's difficult, though, to pick somebody who specifically stood out.
Right. I'm going to pick Grayson Hanna. I mean, he's another one. I mean, perfect on his extra points.
Sure.
But he could be the special teams guy.
If you had a special teams player. But the thing is it's Sweeney also. That one
on punting.
The punting,
another nice effort.
Did a good job, and then of course special teams. We had a blocked punt for a touchdown.
Yes,
that was a big play before the
play.
End of the first half. I think you can make a pretty good case, though, actually, for David Mayo, because he had 2 touchdown runs. Not a whole. I mean, you can't really argue too much against the. And he didn't do anything bad, and he
ran the Wildcat.
Yeah.
I mean, the second half. I mean, he just took in charge of that and made that happen. And of course, you got Surratt, who's stepped up as the leader, and 2 weeks in a row he's come up with 75-plus yards on the ground.
Yeah,
and they're tough yards.
So all around good effort, one way or another. When you win 35-0, that's probably going to be the case. So next week we are at home against Lee Summit High School. We would love to see you out there, but if you can't make it, we'd love to have you join us here as well on lswradio.com and 810varsity.com. The final once again tonight, it was the Titans 35-0 winners over the Jaguars from Blue Springs South. This is Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.